positive from Old Spice. It's alcohol-free because alcohol burns. That's why they took it out and put these new cooling sensates in for real refreshment to go with that great scent. It's proof.
9-42, the Saints all-time winningest coach. And then Jack Pardee, who heads into his 4th year, has taken the Oilers to the playoffs in each of the first 3 years. The Oilers won the toss. They will receive. And one of the fine kickers in the game, Morton Anderson, will tee it up for the Saints. Gary Brown, number 33, goes back deep. He is joined by Willie Drury. So the 1993 regular season ready as Morton Anderson, coming off of arthroscopic surgery on his knee in the offseason, comes into this game. He's hit 20 straight field goals. We're going to be underway. Morton Anderson. Line drive. Brown is going to let it go into the end zone for the touchback, and they will start from the 20-yard line. Warren Moon will be coming out to run the team at quarterback, the #1 rated quarterback in the AFC last year. He went to his 5th straight Pro Bowl, one of the best ever to play this game. 36 years old. He'll be 37 in November. And Pat, as we mentioned, this could be his last chance to win it all.
Yeah, and he was very upfront with that yesterday, saying, hey, their owner, Bud Adams, has said, hey, if they don't win the Super Bowl this year because of the salary cap, this team is going to be broken up.
Moon and the run and shoot. Jeffries makes the catch for a first down as he brings it out to the 32. A 13-yard pickup. Sam Mills made the stop. Jeffries, who had 90 catches a year ago. He has Slaughter, Gibbons, and Duncan joining him in that 4 wide receiver set. They've made a change up front. Matthews was playing offensive tackle. They moved the All-Pro back to center. In motion. Moon on a first down, far side. Catch is made, and we have another Houston first down by Curtis Duncan, who goes out of bounds at the 45-yard line. So 2 passes and 2 first downs. So to face this run and shoot, they're going to go to their dime package, which means they'll have up front 4 men. Sam Mills will be the only linebacker roving around, and 6 defensive backs to try to stop the #1 passing attack in the National Football League. For that matter, the #1 passing attack in the NFL the last 3 years. This time, Ernest Gibbons goes in motion. Lorenzo White off the right side. He takes it to the 49-yard line. A gain of 4. It'll bring up 2nd down and 6.
You know, the thing about the run and shoot is that it puts you in a very awkward position from the very first play. And it forces you, as you mentioned, to use 5 and 6 defensive backs. Now, by definition, those guys aren't good enough to be starters. So you don't have your 11 best players on the field at the same time when you're playing against the run and shoot.
Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator. 2nd down and 7 now for Houston. Moon's got time. Over the middle. Jeffries broken up beautifully. Excellent play that time was Toy Cook, who went flying through the air, and he's hurt on the play. He led the Saints in interceptions last season with 6, and he made a remarkable play keeping that ball from being completed. Former Stanford standout, both in football and baseball. And boy, he hit the turf hard when he extended himself. That ball was on target, but Cook was able to bat it away. So we look over the injury of Toy Cook. We're going to take a break. No score, just underway. First quarter play.
The NFL on TNT is brought to you by Coors Light, the crisp-tasting beer that's mountains above the rest. Remember to reach for the silver bullet when there's no room for filling up. Coors Light, it's the right beer now. By Holiday Inn. Stay with someone you know. Call 1-800-HOLIDAY or your travel agent for reservations. And by Logo Athletic, authentic team apparel.
This is hot. This is cold. This is a silver bullet summer. This is all you need to know. I was born
In a small town. That's where my customers are.
Every day, important business takes place in towns all across the country. And every day, we're a part of it. We're in hundreds of towns like Opelika, Walnut, Hope.
The Northwest
Southeast.
is my territory.
Who would know better than Holiday Inn how to make your small town and big town meetings a big success?
Warm.
Welcoming.
Just like the town I was born
Just
in.
like the town I was born in.
Holiday Inn. Stay with someone you know who really knows you.
Well, it was the left knee of Toy Cook that was injured. Now you're going to see on this replay that these defensive backs don't wear many pads, and his knee pad is up above his knee, his left knee as it hits the ground. You'll see no knee pad covering the knee, and that's moving out with an injury holding that left knee.
Cedric Mack comes in to replace him, the former Phoenix Cardinal, as they look over Toy Cook. Moon 2 of 3 now for 26 yards. Third down. The blitz coming, they pick it up, and they have another first down as a catch made by Jeffries inside the 40, a gain of 13.
You're right. They've had a terrific pickup there by Bruce Matthews, the center. The center, Bruce Matthews, did a great job of coming out and really blocking the blitzer from the outside. Center here, he's going to come out here. This guy comes in. Bruce Matthews is there to give Warren Moon the chance to make the play. Now that's the Saints' dilemma, is to try to put enough pressure on Warren Moon without playing a lot of man-for-man defense.
That is the third 13-yard completion for Moon on this drive. Lorenzo White, 222 pounds, and he is very close to another first down as he rambles inside the 30. White played only one preseason game as he had a contract holdout. They were wondering if he was ready to go into the regular season. He looks good early.
Well, he looks good because he's running, I think, behind one of the great offensive lines in the National Football League. It was Munchak, the left guard, who cleared the way. So did Donnelly, did his job. Matthews on the inside. I mean, that offensive line does a great job of protecting Moon, but opening up some holes there for White as well.
Second and a yard to go. White will get the first down. The former Michigan State standout as he takes it to the 26-yard line. And White last year really blossomed. He gained over 1,200 yards and caught 57 passes. And, Pat, that's one of the things that concerns the Saints, his ability on screens to catch the ball.
They're a great screen team, but, you know, in spite of all the rushing, Gary, in spite of all the receptions, I think he and Marcus Allen are the best pass-blocking backs in the league. I mean, I think Warren Moon really appreciates him most as a pass blocker.
7:05 to go, first quarter. Down, the delayed handoff to White inside the 25. Nice spin move as he's inside the 20. Heath Taylor coming up to make the stop, and so you get those 6 DBs back there, and then you run right at them.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're doing. You're going to see there's 4 defensive linemen here and just 1 linebacker. Now all these guys go here, and when that happens, they just run the little draw play. I mean, everybody's got a helmet on, every defender. And if it wasn't for Sam Mills tripping them up, that would have gained another 8-10 yards.
Second and 3, 9th play of the drive coming up. Moon with good protection. Webster Slaughter makes the move at the 10, and they have a first and goal there. Slaughter has been battling back from a groin problem, missed the first 3 preseason games, but had 8 catches in the last preseason outing. 10-yard pickup on the play.
Okay, the key to this thing was the blitz pickup by Lorenzo White, number 44. We were just talking about the way he can pass block. Now there's Atkins, the free safety, trying to get an early shot on Moon. He's picked up by Lorenzo White and Munchak. That leads the completion to Slaughter. So, I mean, when you have 5 big old offensive linemen keeping defensive linemen away, and if then anybody gets through, you got good old Lorenzo White there to chip them off.
First and goal. White diving for the 5. Remember now, this drive started from the 20. They are at the 6-yard line now.
Yeah, and this is where the New Orleans Saints defense has to really make something happen. This cannot be a high-scoring game for them to win this. They've relied on their defense for years. They've won with defense and special teams primarily. And if it's going to happen, they can't let them score too early in this football game as Toy Cook comes back in the ball game.
They've passed for 5. They've rushed for 5. They have a 2nd and goal at the 6. Moon, this corner, touchdown catch, Haywood Jeffries. 6 yards to Jeffries.
This was the play that Warren Moon said he felt he had an advantage. It's the underthrown, what they call fade route to Haywood Jeffries. I mean, he fakes like he's going to go deep, and the defensive backs think it's going to be a deep one, but then he underthrows it, and he turns away from the defender. I mean, it's a subtle little move by Haywood Jeffries. Jeffries was talking to us yesterday about that move, felt he could do it on Jimmy Spencer, and indeed he did.
One of the reasons is Jeffries is so tall, and he can really play it well. Al Del Greco now for the point after attempt. Out of the hold of Bucky Richardson, and it is a 7-0 game, Houston. An 80-yard drive and 11 plays.
Watch the eyes here of Jeffries. It's set up. Jeffries makes him think it's going to be deep, but it's not. Falls away from the defender. Another perfectly thrown ball by Moon, and they got a touchdown. The first one of the 1993 season.
Mountain Cable Advertising is proud to bring you primetime NFL football exclusively on cable television. Tonight's TNT broadcast is brought to you locally by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. And by the Rocky Mountain Chevy dealers, where you get Corvettes, Suburbans, the 58-mile-per-gallon Metro, and America's most reliable pickups. And by the Electronics Place. We beat any price.
The Electronics Place, Utah's newest electronic superstore, celebrates Labor Day with their incredible grand opening sale. Unbelievable prices in all departments. Full-size VHS or 8mm camcorders, $4.99. Magnavox 31-inch stereo TV, $7.99. All home loudspeakers, including JBL, Advent, DCM, and Cerwin Vega, 25% off. Complete computer package with monitors, $7.99. Come help us celebrate at 7200 South State Street. The Electronics Place. We beat any price.
McDonald's, huh?
Yeah.
Smells good.
Thanks. If this ride were any longer, you'd have to fight for those fries.
We're stuck.
Haywood Jeffries with a 6-yard touchdown catch. Warren Moon was 5 of 6 on that drive for 55 yards. Del Greco to kick off. 7-0 Houston. Brown and Hughes back deep. And it's going to be the rookie Derek Brown out of Nebraska. Brings it out across the 20 to the 21, and Wade Wilson will come in, the 34-year-old. He won a 3-way battle with Steve Walsh and Mike Buck to gain the starting nod tonight. He had a glorious finish. Pat talked about that earlier with the Falcons last year. 3 straight 300-yard games. He's been a starter in Minnesota for 5 years. He went to the Pro Bowl in 1988. He's known as a streaky player.
Yeah, a little bit like David Craig in that sense. You know, he can if he gets started early, I mean, he could really have a big game. He has played at times magnificently, and other times very average.
Lorenzo Neal and Fred McAfee in the backfield. This will be Neal. He's a rookie out of Fresno State, and he's been very impressive. Picks up 8 yards on the play out to the 30-yard line. Well, we mentioned Neal. He's a 4th-round draft pick. He's joined by Fred McAfee, who has not played in the preseason because of a knee injury. Turner, Early, and Brenner, the veteran tight end. And up front, Jay Hilgenberg, not Joel. Jay, the older brother of Joel, is starting at center. He's had a week to get ready for the job. 2nd and 2 yards to go. This time McAfee. McAfee trying to go wide, and he will not get wide. Very good reaction by Sean Jones, who played very well in the preseason. He had his first training camp since 1989, and had 5 sacks in the preseason. Defensively, Fuller, Childress, Montgomery starting in place of Lee Williams, who's out with a knee injury. Robinson, Smith, and Joe Bowden with a new number, which we'll talk more about. Dishman, Lewis with his first start. Bubba McDowell, one of the best strong safeties. In fact, Buddy Ryan says the best strong safety he's ever coached. 3rd down and 8. Flag on the play. Wilson gets rid of it. He completes it to Eric Martin. Martin is short of the first down, tackled out across the 30, but let's sort out the penalty flag as Ray Childress is over there to make the stop. Bob McElwee is our referee. It's going to be offside against Houston.
Yeah, that's a nice play by Wade Wilson. Use the count.
Offside, number 79, defense. 5 yards, 3rd down.
But also saw the audible. It was a blitz audible on a 3rd and 8. Now, this is Jackson. He's a defensive back who's going to blitz him. This is Martin, who reads it as well and runs a little square out. Now, you're going to have a lot of sight adjustments. That's what it is, a sight adjustment off a blitz when you play against a Buddy Ryan blitzing defense. Now, you're going to take some smacks as a receiver and as a quarterback, but if you're patient enough, you can come up with some big pass plays.
What was it Wade Wilson said? I got to keep my poise.
That's right. Take some licks.
3rd and 3. He tries to Dalton Hilliard. That ball would have been a big gain had it not been thrown too tall for him. And it'll bring up a 4th down. He was open in the flat, and they're going to have to punt the football.
He was open in the flat, but there were some guys in Wade Wilson's face that made him throw that ball higher than he wanted.
Tommy Barnhart will come in and punt the football, coming off his finest year.
You know, both these teams come after the punter. I wouldn't be surprised to see a blocked punt sometime tonight.
Frank Wainwright will snap it. Not hit especially high. Brewery is going to let it hit, and it's taken a Saints bounce, and it goes inside the 25-yard line. They'll mark it just inside the 24. That ends up being a 48-yard punt. Not artistic, as Barnhart is saying, but very effective.
There are some tough birds in our division who love putting the ache to Aikman. And those people in Washington definitely believe in capital punishment. And even when things are going good, I remember there are still giants in New York. Do I think winning another Super Bowl is going to be easy? Get real.
Logo Athletic, authentic team apparel. To everyone struggling to build a future in this era of challenge, uncertainty, and change, come in under the strength of our $50 billion in assets. To everyone wrestling with the rising costs of doing business, commercial insurance, workers' comp, come in under a program that has helped save American companies over $300 million. Come in where America's spirit is found. The Travelers, America's umbrella.
In just over a half hour, your family will disappear out the door. What do you fix for dinner?
Well, if you're ready to go when I am.
It's quick. It's easy.
Oh, I invited Bobby over.
It's beef.
Hey, Bobby, pull up a chair.
It's what's for dinner.
There's only one talk show that links the entire world, where issues and news events are open to global discussion.
I have a question on your...
Larry King Live. He's got the world talking. Weeknights, 9 Eastern, only on CNN.
Saints trying to make some adjustments. They've had to make those due to the injury to Joel Hilgenberg. Jay, his older brother, 34, who 7 years a Pro Bowler with Chicago, started last year for Cleveland, lost the job to Steve Everett, the #1 draft pick of Cleveland. Boone over the middle to Lorenzo White, and White to the 30 and dropped there. He'll be 3 yards short of the first down and bring up a second down. Now White caught 57 passes last year to show you his ability to come out of the backfield. One thing about this Oiler team that was so interesting in our meetings last night.
You know, just take a look at this. Here's the middle linebacker, Mills. He goes out, and here's White, who just kind of delays right over the middle. And then again, when you're thinking about those 4 wide receivers so much, you can just dump it off to Lorenzo White for 8 or 9 yards.
Second down, a long 3. Boom. Nice catches made by Ernest Gibbons, and Gibbons has a first down to the 45, a 16-yarder on the play.
I love to watch Ernest Gibbons. I mean, he is like a hummingbird out there. I mean, he can start and he can stop, and he'll go deep and short and catch balls over the middle. And you know, now in his 8th year, he has caught a lot of balls over the middle and been hit a lot over the middle. And now he's looking for something. He lost something.
Off his chin strap, I guess. He had 10 touchdown catches last year. 37, the 8 years that he and Warren Moon have played together. First down at the 45. White pins it back, and White will get to the 47. Pat, one of the points I started to make is, in talking to the Oilers last night, I thought it was so interesting how they've taken on a challenge that this team may not be back. They're using it as a positive rather than a negative.
Yeah, that's what Warren Moon said is, you know, he didn't feel the pressure. As a matter of fact, he's relieved that Bud Adams has said, hey, guys, do it this year or the party's over. And so everybody knows exactly where they stand. They understand that, well, they have 30 guys in the last year of a contract, so this is it. But he's playing at least loosely. Doesn't feel like it makes him uptight.
2nd and 8 for the Houston Oilers. Complete to Gibbons. Boy, he's tough after the catch. Stripped of the ball. It's loose. The Saints have it. And the ball is Jimmy Spencer. And Spencer goes out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Stripped by Ricky Jackson. So a guy who's so good after the catch, Gibbons didn't protect the football.
You know, and this defense knows their offense is not going to generate a lot of points by themselves. So what do? The defense takes it into their own hands and causes turnovers, causes fumbles, and gives their offense a short field. Again, this is not a bad play at all by Gibbons. It's a terrific play by Ricky Jackson, who's hustling, still in his 13th year, still hustling around all over the field. And he sensed that he wasn't going to get him. But the great players have that other sense of, hey, if I can't tackle him, let's make a play somehow or other. Dive, maybe tip it away, as Ricky Jackson did right there.
First down at the Houston 41.
That's a good play. Man.
Floyd Turner comes in motion. Wilson dumps it off to Dalton Hilliard. Hilliard makes the move at the 40 to the 35, a gain of 6.
You know, Gary, as I watched Dalton Hilliard, this Saint team has not been the same team since he was injured. He blew out that knee in 1990, I guess it was, and they were a great running team in '89. But since then, they have run the ball poorly. And they're a hard team to figure out because they're conservative, but they don't run the ball well.
And Mora loves to run the football.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. They only averaged 3.6 a carry last season. 2nd and 4 from the 35. Wilson slant pattern. Eric Martin, and Martin takes it for a first down to the 20. And here's a guy, Pat, that can catch the ball in traffic as well as anybody in the NFL.
He doesn't get open by much. But if you get the ball in his direction, he's going to make a play. Now, we talked about the rushers here. We talked about '89 being the big year. But look what's happened since then. And that's what makes, I think, the Saints a tough team to understand, because you would think, as conservative as they are, I mean, this is an offense that Rush Limbaugh would love. You know, they really haven't had that dominant runner.
16-yard dig to the 20-yard line.
He's your hero, I know.
I know, Rush is. Back to throw now is Wilson. Over the top to Hilliard. He can't get there. Pretty good coverage that time, as that was Eddie Robinson, the linebacker, dropping off to make the cover on the corner.
Yeah, this offensive line, we're treated to two very good offensive lines, I think, particularly in the pass protection. Watch the offensive line here as these guys give Wade Wilson some time. Port does his job. Richard Cooper, the left tackle, the rookie. William Rope had a nice start to his game, so those guys give him plenty of time now.
2nd and 10 for the 20-yard line. They're coming after him on the blitz. Wilson got rid of it. They didn't have enough time, and there's going to be a roughing the passer, I believe. Dalton Hilliard, the intended receiver, covered very well that time by Michael Barrow, the rookie.
Bubba McDowell, number 25, is a strong safety, but he's playing a lot more. He's the blitzer in their defensive backfield as well.
Holding, number 77, offense, 10 yards, 2nd down.
So it was holding, not a roughing the passer.
Yeah.
That's William Roth, the rookie, their number 1 draft pick out of Louisiana Tech.
He's number 77, the right tackle. And he's got the Heimlich maneuver, pulling William Fuller down. It's an easy call. Bubba McDowell gets close again. Bubba McDowell is, again, one of those key matchups today. Him on the blitz. Who picks up Bubba McDowell on the blitz will also be a determinant in who wins and loses this football game.
10-yard penalty makes it 2nd and 20 now from the 30-yard line. 7-0 Houston, 3:11 to go in the first quarter. And Sean Jones saw something.
I'll tell you, that's twice Wade Wilson has done that. He's used his voice inflection to draw him off sides, but that was 2nd and 20. You normally save that, Gary, for a 3rd and 3. You normally save, because you get 2 or 3 of those a game, but you save them for critical situations. 3rd and 3, not 2nd and 20.
So they'll get 5 yards back of that penalty a moment ago. Moves it inside the 25-yard line.
Now, here's where the Saints, I think, if they want to take that next step, they have to quit relying on Morton Anderson so much. I mean, let it happen here. You've got some pretty good wide receivers, in Quinn Early in particular, Floyd Turner, Eric Martin. Let something happen in the passing game down here. Don't rely on Morton Anderson so much.
2nd and 15. Quinn Early in motion. An end-around fakes by Wilson. Gets it off instead of Derek Brown. Brown to the 15 to the 10. He is just short of the first down. That's a 13-yard pickup on the play, and Brown, who they think is a little Dalton Hilliard, the rookie out of Nebraska, did a very good job once he caught the ball.
Good block by number 77, Rolf on Fuller. And this was a nicely designed play. Carl Smith, the offensive coordinator, a good call, fakes the reverse. A little misdirection against a penetrating defense. Nice call, good play.
But they're still a yard short. 3rd down coming up from the 11.
Yeah, and remember the Saints, not a good running or short yardage team, and Wilson's going to burn a timeout.
Wilson will call a timeout. It's closer to 2 yards, but it's 3rd down. Wilson using the first timeout with 2:28 to go in this first quarter. New Orleans trying to tie this game up.
It's the Chevy authorized year-end clearance sale at your neighborhood Rocky Mountain Chevy Geo dealer. Now till September 22nd, you'll get over $1,900 in option discounts, up to $1,500 in cash back, and this decade's lowest interest. Act now and lease a 93 full-size Chevy pickup for just $229 a month for only 24 months. Factory authorized year-end clearance now till September 22nd at your neighborhood Rocky Mountain Chevy Geo dealer.
My, what an impressive display of casual sportswear. Did they pay?
Come see the wildest show on turf, University of Utah football. Season tickets are on sale now. Call 581-UTIX.
Saints trying to capitalize on the turnover that set them up at the 41. So very important 3rd down and 2 coming up. Gary Bender along with Pat Hayden as we have 2:28 left in the first quarter. Houston took the opening drive and marched it to take a 7-0 lead.
Now, strategically, they have 2 choices. I mean, they could take 2 runs and try to pick up the first down, or take a shot throwing the ball maybe to Eric Martin, who's very good inside the 15.
Floyd Turner goes in motion. Wilson going to run it, diving, and I don't think he got it. It's going to be 4th down. He needed to get inside the 10. Sean Jones, with a big collision there, he may have lost some on the play, so they're going to bring in Morton Anderson.
Yeah, the Houston Oilers got themselves a little bit of a break here because Bubba McDowell, number 25, slipped and fell. Now Quinn Early's open.
But boy, you know, when you're running the ball, Pat, it's hard to see sometimes.
You're absolutely right. It's much easier to see it when you've got, you know, 14 cameras or whatever.
Now Morton Anderson has kicked 20 straight field goals. The record in the NFL is 24. This will be a 28-yard attempt. High snap. Barnhart gets it down, and Anderson gets it up quickly. And it's now a 7-3 football game. Kevin Butler holds the NFL record, 24 straight, and now Morton Anderson has set a Saints record with 21 in a row. So Jim Moore's team on the scoreboard, getting 3 off of that turnover. Next week, we're going to head out to the Pacific Northwest for an AFC West showdown between the Raiders, who look very good, I understand, today in their win, and the Seahawks, who played very good defense today. Join us as we see Seattle's new young quarterback, Rick Meyer, the former Fighting Irishman. It all begins with the Silver Bullet Stadium show with special guest Bob Golick. 7:30 Eastern, followed by the kickoff at 8 o'clock.
Hey, the Hoffs, Jeff Hostetler, 23 of 27, 225 yards, I think, to a touchdown. He had a big day.
Well, John Carney had what? 4 field goals, 6 field goals today. Yes.
Yeah.
6 field goals, all 18 points in that win for San Diego.
One of the interesting things about the the Houston Oilers is number 7. There he is. That's the 3rd-team quarterback, Bucky Richardson. Now, he has actually made the 45-man roster as a special teams player. I mean, this guy holds. This guy is on the kickoff return team. He's on the punt team. This is not your average quarterback.
Team loves him.
Yeah,
I mean, he's one of their most favorite players, one of the most popular players.
Yeah, he wears a mouthpiece. He's got the real face mask on.
Now, you wanted to do that, didn't
Absolutely.
you? Didn't you want to cover kickoffs
Come on,
when you're in the NFL?
You got to be an athlete. Do it all.
I bet you begged to get in there.
Only when the score was like 35-0, I can say.
Gary Brown going back, and he'll have to go to a knee. So they'll come out to the 20-yard line. 7-3 our score, 1:31 left to go in this first quarter. A little pushing and shoving going on inside the 20-yard line. This guy, James Williams, always seems to be around the football on the special teams. Well, they marked the ball at the 15. They're starting the regular season too, right?
Preseason's over.
So at the 20-yard line, Moon will come in. He's 8 of 9 for 86 yards and 1 touchdown.
But the Saints defense did exactly, they've started 93 in the exact same fashion as 1992. Creating the turnovers, making a short field for their offense, keeping a game close, trying to win in the 4th quarter.
Bonner goes in motion. Moon with time, and the ball almost intercepted on the rebound by Vince Buck. Buck coming over, had a hand on it momentarily as that shot went through Curtis Duncan's hands, and almost the 2nd turnover of the game for the Houston Oilers.
Again, this New Orleans Saints defense can still really play. Yes, they've got some age on them. Yes, Pat Swilling's no longer here, but still good things can happen to them. You don't stay open long, and if you catch the ball, they're going to hit you. And they're going to hit you hard, and they're going to cause fumbles.
2nd and 10. Moon on the little shovel pass forward to Lorenzo White, and he'll be a couple of yards short of the first down out across the 28-yard line. It'll bring up a third down. Brent Maxey made the stop for the Saints.
You can see the rush here. We talked about Kevin Donnelly, number 77. He's the left tackle. He comes down, box Vaughn Johnson, the middle linebacker. Big seam there, big hole there for White. I mean, anytime you're not afraid to throw the ball, you're going to be a good running team. And that's what the Oilers are, a good running team.
3rd and 2. Moon, far side. Couldn't make the connection with Duncan. Pretty good coverage that time by Cedric Mack, the veteran who was with him stride for stride, and it's 4th down.
Their first drive, the Oilers go down and in a very impressive fashion score a touchdown. Second drive, there's a turnover, a forced fumble by Ricky Jackson. Third drive, they're punting after 3 plays. And again, the Saints defense has played well here in the first quarter.
Hunting the football, the guy who led the NFL last year, Greg Montgomery. He'll get it away to a rookie, Tyrone Hughes, out of Nebraska. Beautiful punt. Hughes is going to have to let that one hit, and it's going to go out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it. At the 25 is where they're going to mark it. Let's look at the Saints' strengths and weaknesses. You were talking basically about their defense. They were the best in the NFL as far as points allowed.
Yeah, pass defense, number 1. Sacks, fumble recoveries. Obviously they cause a lot of fumbles because they play zone defense. They have guys like Ricky Jackson hustling around causing fumbles. You see the weaknesses, the rushing game. And like I said, it's an anomaly, this team. You would consider them a physical defensive team. They want to run the ball, but they haven't been able to. They still aren't winning on offense. And to win a championship, you have to be able to win on defense, special teams, and offense. They still only have 2 of the 3.
Brett McAfee, the single running back, and McAfee for 2. We should mention that McAfee did not play in the preseason. He was hurt. But the Saints' leading rusher from a year ago, Von Dunbar, is out for the season with a knee injury. And then their starting fullback, Brad Muster, went down with a sprained knee last week. So Neal, the rookie, and McAfee, who did not play in the preseason, started in the backfield.
Yeah, so it's tough for Jim Mora. Here you are trying to run the football, trying to establish it, and yet your 2 starting running backs are hurt, not available.
Well, we're going to end our first quarter of play here at the Louisiana Superdome. 7-3, Houston with the lead.
This simple outside says inside you'll find a lasting commitment to performance. The Intel 486DX2 processor, power for today's hottest software, and the Intel Pentium processor for the next generation of compatible power. That's Intel, the computer inside.
Back to school shopping.
Oh, perfect. Too shiny.
Perfect.
Too flat. No way.
You look like a perfect little gentleman. Gentleman?
Don't make that face at me.
Ma, now can we go to Foot Locker?
For back-to-school shopping, that's perfect. Get over to Foot Locker today.
Is this fresh or what? Like a perfect little gentleman?
Whoa! Back-to-school shopping at Foot Locker, where it all begins.
Did you tell him to say that?
Not me.
When Jiffy Lube says we've got experience, they mean it. They've got more trained technicians, more locations, and they've serviced more cars than any other fast lube. So what oil do they offer? The performance, protection, and quality of Pennzoil motor oil. Put their experience to work protecting your new car warranty. Do what most people do. Take your car to number 1. Take it to Jiffy Lube.
Drive in every 3,000 miles.
Bob Neal down on the sideline at the set for our Fruit of the Loom halftime report, where Kevin and Fran will be along with me at halftime to look at highlights from this game. And Ernie Johnson Jr. in Atlanta will have highlights of that big Raiders upset, 49ers roll, and the New York Giants beat the Bears. We've got it all at halftime. We'll join you fellas down here in just a couple of minutes.
Okay, Bob, thank you. We'll look forward to that. In that first quarter, the Saints had only 3 yards rushing. 2nd down and 9 as we start quarter number 2. Bubba McDowell stepping across the line of scrimmage, and Derek Brown spins out to the 31-yard line with a free play.
Well, that's the third time that Wade Wilson's drawn the Oilers offside. So he is using his voice inflection to pick up 15 easy yards.
Offside, number 25, defense. 5 yards, second down.
You see, Bubba McDowell, the strong safety, has really become like a linebacker in this scheme. He's right there, and he's going to jump in offsides. You got to watch the ball. You can't listen to the quarterback. If you watch the ball, you're not offsides.
Well, they'll refuse the penalty, take the gain of 6 yards, 2nd and 4. Derek Brown again. Brown bouncing around and fighting close to the first down. Needed to get out to the 36, and he's close to that spot. Brown last year for Nebraska gained over 1,000 yards. Came out early after his junior year, and that time, let's see if he got the first down. They do have it. First down, the Saints. So now establishing a running game.
You know, there's some pretty good blocks up there on the right side. William Roaf, the #1 draft pick, the rookie, number 77, and he's a guy who's come into the Saints and just acted like he's been here for 10 years. You know, he's acted like he should be starting.
First down, 3 of 5 passing, now completes his 4th of the game. Eric Martin, who again catches the ball so well with people right next to him, has a 16-yard gain, and they're at the Houston end of the field at the 47-yard line.
You know, we talked about Eric Martin, and because he doesn't have blazing speed, when he gets open, he's not open for terribly long. But if you just give him a chance and get the ball around him, he'll make a play. That was pretty good coverage by McDowell. But he is so strong, Eric Martin. He uses his body to screen the defender, and anything comes, you know, he'll just suck that ball up and you have no chance.
That's the reason he's the all-time leading receiver for the Saints. Led him for 6 straight years in receiving. Dalton Hilliard goes in motion. Wilson looks up the field, and that ball deflected. Very dangerous pass that time. Wilson had somebody open in the flat, and then Chris Dishman almost came up with the interception.
Take a look at William Roaf. This is this #1 draft pick that we're talking about. He has done a very good job here in the first half. Now he sets inside. He's going to force William Fuller to go all the way around the quarterback. I mean, he's doing his job. The play before, he threw a pretty good block for Derek Brown on the run. This is a guy that Jim Morris said, you know, when I first saw him walk, I thought he was hurt. Yeah. But he can play. He's going to be playing there for 10, 15 years maybe.
Buddy Ryan says he looks like a 10-year vet that you were talking about. Wainwright goes in motion. Wilson to Wainwright, drops it. Frank Wainwright, the backup tight end out of Northern Colorado, couldn't come up with that one. It'll bring up 3rd down. The Saints had a very good draft. They had 2 #1 picks due to the fact they traded Pat Swilling to the Detroit Lions. You mentioned Roaf, also Irv Smith out of Notre Dame.
You know, it's amazing that 7 rookies draft picks make a team that went 12-4 a year ago. I mean, that's kind of amazing, but it is a good draft. Roaf, the best offensive lineman in the draft. Irv Smith, the best tight end available in the draft.
3rd down 10. The Saints have not converted a 3rd down. They're 0 for 3. Wilson up the middle. Eric Martin inside the 30. First down to the 27. Marcus Robertson made the tackle, but it's a 20-yard gain for this veteran wide receiver.
Give Wade Wilson some credit, too, because he is hanging in the pocket, and when you do that, you can find guys like Eric Martin. He works the middle between the hash marks, much like Ernest Givens does for the Oilers. If you get the ball near him, he's not going to bobble it. You're not going to get tip balls from him. He just kind of sucks the ball up like a sponge, and you get a first down. But Wade Wilson, I'm telling you, is hanging in there in the pocket and really showing some patience.
Moving the football. First down at the 27. Turner in motion. Wilson over the middle. Martin a little too much behind him. He tried to adjust to the ball inside the 15. That ball thrown with a lot of velocity that time, and Martin couldn't get turned around in time to come up with another catch.
Yeah, you know, that was one that Wade Wilson thought that Eric Martin was going to hook up right on the hash mark. Martin kind of kept coming around inside, and so that's why it bounced off his hands. He had him open easily for a first down.
They get Martin out of there right now. Turner will go split out, joined by Quinn Early. Second down, 10. Here comes the blitz. Lorenzo Neal, the rookie from Fresno State, who is also the WAC wrestling champ, takes it to the 21-yard line, and Eddie Robinson made the tackle there. It'll bring up now third down and still 4 yards to go.
I'll tell you, that's a nice bounce there by Neal, but what happens here, all the offensive linemen come in here, he just kind of bounces off. I mean, it's one thing to make this kind of play when you're an I-back, but when you're lined up at fullback, only 2 yards away from the line of scrimmage, to be able to bounce it out around outside is kind of remarkable. That's a nice play by Lorenzo Neal.
What was it Jim Morris said? He's like a bowling ball. He just bounces off of people and runs over them.
He scored about, what, 222 on that one.
Third down and 4. And the blitz coming. They get it out to Hobie Brenner, the tight end. First and goal at the 4.
Great play by Wade Wilson off the blitz. Michael Barrow, the middle linebacker, was coming. Wade Wilson knew he was coming. But he said, if I stay poised in the pocket, we can come up with some big plays against this Oiler defense. They don't have to be long plays. The ball doesn't have to be in the air for a long time. But that is a courageous play by Wade Wilson, finding Hobie Brenner as tight end. Now, he knows he's going to take a shot. But it wasn't good timing on the blitz by Barrow. Got there too late.
First and goal at the 4. Neal, nothing doing that time, and flags everywhere. Everybody threw a flag on that play. Ray Childress is there to stop Lorenzo Neal. Delay a game? No, illegal substitution. They had too many people on the field, and now we have Childress down and getting up slowly. Looks like I may have heard his right arm. That's too many people on the field, that signal.
Offside, number 28 defense. That penalty is accepted. 12 men on the field against the defense. That penalty will be declined. 5 yards. Correction, half the distance. First down.
Well, they had so many things wrong. No wonder they were able to stop that play. Offside and 12 people, you got to stop that play, huh?
That's right.
We're going to come back. 10:42 to go in the first half. The Oilers with a 7-3 lead, but at the 5-yard line, New Orleans.
The NFL on TNT is brought to you by GMC Truck, the strength of experience, and by Rolling Rock Premium Beer, from the mountain springs to you, same as it ever was.
Underneath every new Jimmy is the strength of a strong truck frame. An important advantage for towing, whether you're on-road or off-road. The GMC Jimmy. Drop in for a test drive.
It was fascination, I know, and it might have ended right then at the start. Just a passing glance, just a brief romance, fascination turned to love.
Okay, that's Pro Bowl defensive tackle Ray Childress, and he took a shot into his right arm. Watch him right here as he comes in. He's going to get hit by the face mask, I think, of the running back. Yeah, big old Lorenzo Neal. Read his lips. Said he broke his arm. And he starts asking for some help. And players know. Players know.
Well, let's hope it isn't broken. Half the distance to the goal then. Makes it at the 2 as the Saints come out. First and goal there.
Great time for play action.
Dalton Hilliard in. Touchdown, New Orleans. Dalton Hilliard, the second all-time leading rusher for the New Orleans Saints, second only to George Rogers from 2 yards out, and the Saints have the lead for the first time.
Yeah, that right side of the offensive line, William Rote, Kennard, Renner, and then he follows the lead block of his rookie fullback, Lorenzo Neal. I mean, that's how you run the football.
10 plays, 74 yards, just inside 5 minutes on the drive. Morton Anderson point after. And New Orleans has a 10-7 lead. So all of a sudden, the running game has perked up. And Dalton Hilliard caps it with this 2-yard run.
One MRI scan, $1,100.
There's no question healthcare costs are high.
2 pain relievers, $5.
That's why you need someone to work in your behalf to lower those costs.
1 hospital stay per night, $1,500.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield, we don't own hospitals or employ physicians.
1 open heart surgery, $30,000.
Our only job is to manage your healthcare dollars.
1 human life, absolutely priceless.
We don't provide medical care. We provide a way to make it affordable.
Training Table Restaurants. Great food, good friends, and fun.
When Willard Richards built the first granite furniture store in the Sugar House district of Salt Lake, people had to make a real effort to get there. So he made sure his store had everything, so their trip would be worth it. At today's Granite Furniture Superstores, you can shop 7 stores under one roof. Because when it's so easy to shop somewhere else, now more than ever, we have to make sure your trip to Granite is worth it. Granite Furniture, where you always get more than you pay for.
Number 1 draft pick, William Rote, leading the way to the Saints' first rushing touchdown of the year.
Yeah, he's number 77, and you see why he is a number 1 draft pick, because he just kind of locks his man inside, and that is an easy touchdown run for Dalton Hilliard because of the block of William Rote and Derek Kennard. Now, Michael Barrow, the outside linebacker, had a chance to make a play here. Now, he comes a little too wide. Watch, he can come too wide. If he comes down a little tighter, he can make a play.
And so the kickoff, as we come back to the live action, is downed in the end zone by Gary Brown. And to the 20-yard line, Warren Moon now trailing for the first time. 10-7 will come out. 10:32 to go in this first half of play.
So the Saints, so far in this game, as they lead 10-7, have really played this exactly the way they wanted. They've been able to control the clock. They've created a turnover on defense. They kept Warren Moon off the field. I mean, this is exactly what they wanted to do.
There's the numbers on the 2 QBs as we come out at the 20. Comes in motion. Half roll by Moon, and he makes a completion to Jeffries across the 25 to the 26, and he's gang tackled there. Haywood Jeffries with 190 catches in the last 2 years. Has led the AFC in receiving the last 3.
4 tonight for 39. No gloves by Haywood Jeffries. Most receivers in the league now are wearing gloves. He says, no fashion statement by me. He says, my hands are kind of small, and I want to really feel that ball when it comes my way.
You know, Slaughter doesn't use them either.
Yeah.
You expect to see those wide receivers with those gloves with high technology. Well, he's got them on now. He did the other night.
That's
Duncan. But Slaughter does not, as you mentioned, Jeffries doesn't either. Second down, Lorenzo White trying to go right, and Ronaldo Turnbull, the guy that's trying to make him forget about Pat Swilling, over there to make the tackle.
Well, at the very beginning of the broadcast, you said one of the keys to this game was Ronaldo Turnbull, particularly in the pass game. Here is Donnelly, number 77, and 97 Turnbull. That is a matchup. They have a large part in who wins this game. Again, that on the running play, that round goes to Ronaldo Turnbull, who fights away from Donnelly, just throws him away, and makes the play.
A guy who was drafted #1 out of West Virginia. 3rd down and 5. Warren Moon on the side adjustment, didn't like what he saw. So with 9:05 to go in this first half. 2 timeouts remaining for the Oilers. 10-7, New Orleans with the lead.
Chili, fries, coffee.
You better add on some Tums.
No, on the house.
Except these aren't Tums.
Same thing.
I'm all mixed up.
I told you they're all the same.
Listen to me. Tums has calcium. Is this calcium? No, it uses aluminum and magnesium. So does this. This here, Original Rolaids, uses an aluminum salt. The only one of these that helps wipe out heartburn and gives you calcium you need is Tums.
Something my body needs anyway. I like that.
Insist on calcium-rich Tums.
At GMC Truck, we built a reputation for truck strengths. A considerable advantage. It also comes in this handy take-home side. Sierra from GMC Truck.
Earl Jones, Billy D. Williams, and Courtney B. Vance as Thunder. A fighter in a split decision between honor and corruption. Percy and Thunder from TNT Screenworks. Premieres Tuesday night at 8.
Saints with a 10-7 lead, and it's quite obvious what really turned this game around was that fumble recovery. Ricky Jackson stripping the ball from Gibbons, and then the run by Spencer. Since that time, 5 plays, 13 yards for the Oilers offensively. Moon to Curtis Duncan, and Duncan will make the first down catch just short of the 35-yard line. Tyrone Leggett over there to make the stop, and it's time for tonight's GMC Truck Leaderboard as we look at the action of the old quarterbacks. Steve DeBerg started today for Tampa Bay. Sims also. Montana, what a game he had today.
Wow.
Warren Moon will be 37 in November. First down 10. Lorenzo White trying to get wide. Von Johnson closing on him. Also Vince Clark. And they knock him out of bounds at the 38-yard line.
You know, Von Johnson is one of those distinguished inside linebackers of the New Orleans Saints. I mean, these Saints inside linebackers, he and Sam Mills, can do 2 things. They can run sideline to sideline when they have to, but then they can stuff the run inside as well. I mean, even with Pat Swilling gone and Ronaldo Turnbull taking his place, they still have a very strong linebacking core.
3 of them went to the Pro Bowl last year. One of those, the man you just looked at, Von Johnson, 2nd and 7. Moon, double pumping. Completion to Gibbons, and Gibbons fighting for the first down. He needs to get across the 45. Gene Atkins over there, one of the underrated safeties in the NFL, eventually able to wrestle him out.
Key matchup we talked about, Donnelly against Turnbull. Donnelly's number 77, the left tackle. Gets away with a hold here on Turnbull. And again, he also get some help from Lorenzo White, the back.
One reason Donnelly's out there, Don Maggs, their starting left tackle of a year ago, went to Denver as a free agent. They had to make some adjustments. That was the first down. The Moon gets away from Frank Warren, and incomplete. Duncan had double coverage, and Moon showing his ability in the open field, and now we have a fight breaking out inside the 35. Webster Slaughter has a lot of black jerseys around him. Gene Atkins is one of those.
You know, as you look at how about going face mask to face mask?
A couple of bulls there, huh? They call him Gene the Assassin because he'll hit you.
It's kind of ironic as you watch both these teams that each of them is looking for that missing element that the other team possesses. I mean, the Oilers are looking for a defense that can win games, make the plays at critical times. The Saints, of course, are looking for an offense so they don't have to depend on Morton Anderson and that defense so much.
Buddy Ryan, he loves that aggressive defense, and he'd like the way the offense is being aggressive right now, huh? That's kind of a defensive move there. Maybe Slaughter could play linebacker for him.
Line him up, blitz him.
Second down 10.
You always pick on the guys with 20s, though. You never go after the guys with 70s. The rule.
Moon in trouble. Troy Cook's got him. Cook on the blitz. Backside, and Moon has a loss inside the 35-yard line.
Well, Troy Cook has done it with guile and smarts for a long time. Not necessarily the fastest guy in the league, but he times it perfectly. I mean, if you get a blitz and you don't have flat-out speed, you got to get off right on the snap count. And Troy Cook did a terrific job of timing that blitz.
Loss of 8. They mark it at the 38-yard line. Third down and 18. And that will be enough for the first down. You talk about a very important catch. Curtis Duncan came back, a 19-yard grab. They needed 18. That was beautifully thrown, and Duncan adjusting well to the football.
Two great things about that. Curtis Duncan goes 19 yards. I mean, how many receivers did I see today in the NFL run, 1 yard short of the first down marker? So he gets to 19 yards. The second thing is maybe 2 or 3 quarterbacks that can make that throw. He and John Elway, Dan Marino come to mind. I mean, that was a frozen rope. That ball was in the air, a good 40 yards.
First down, 43 of New Orleans. Lorenzo White, and he's going nowhere. Good reaction that time. Guess who it was? Troy Cook. Cook is playing sideline to sideline after sustaining that injury early on an excellent defensive play on a pass.
You know, we talked to Troy Cook, and he says, what do you fear most about the run and shoot? And surprisingly, I thought, Gary, he said, their offensive line. He said that offensive line is so good that it's tough to put pressure on Warren Moon, and if you can't get after him, it makes it awfully tough on us defensive backs.
Well, Munchak's been to the Pro Bowl 8 times, and for the last 5 years, Bruce Matthews. Second and 8. Backside pressure, they cut it off, Moon over the middle, Slaughter broken up at the last instant by Brent Maxey. That was a touchdown.
And that was great timing by Brett Maxey. Warren Moon took a shot, but that's going to happen to quarterbacks. Defensive backs have to make plays as well, and you had one there from Brett Maxey. Started with pretty good protection. On the outside was Turnbull. He comes in. It was an inside shot that he took. That was by Robert Goff, and a perfectly timed play by Brett Maxey. I mean, oftentimes you see receivers make the perfectly timed jump. That was a perfectly timed play by that strong safety.
Third and 8, 11th play of the drive. A screen over the middle, intended for White, incomplete. A lot of congestion that time, but you know the Saints are waiting for that because they love to screen on that type of play.
Yeah, this Saint defense in 1993, once again, is for real. Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator, has got these guys charged up. And Warren Moon right now is a bit frustrated.
Greg Montgomery will come in and punt after that frustration into the drive. Fourth down. Tyrone Hughes back. Trying to keep this in the field of play. Hughes calling for the fair catch and makes it at the 13-yard line. 4:48 left to go in this first half. The Saints with a 10-7 lead, and Warren Moon, after the opening drive, has been stymied.
ZCMI offers you 12 months interest-free on the best in electronics, furniture, and so much more. Receive 12 months interest-free. Monday only on everything from recliners, TVs and stereos, to computers. Monday only. ZCMI knows what you want. But hurry, 12-month interest-free Monday doesn't last forever.
My, what an impressive display of casual sportswear. Did they pay?
Every TV, VCR, and camcorder on sale and deferred payments until January. Now at R.C. Willey.
Offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride looking for something that will work. It was going well early, and then the turnover really pivoted this game around.
But you see what he has there on his right wrist. He's got a band there because opponents in the AFC Central, particularly said the Cleveland Browns, film him for a couple of years, and they've actually been taping him or filming him signaling in plays. So he said, what we do now is I have this wristband, so does Warren Moon, and I just give him numbers.
Wilson starts this drive inside the 15. He gives off to Fred McAfee, and McAfee able to negotiate the 18, second down.
Think about what we have here in the first half. 4:39 remaining in the first half. Saints up by 3 points, 10-7, and it's gone directly the way that Jim Mora would have liked. Keep the game close. Try to keep it a low-scoring game. Defense makes the turnovers. It's gone exactly according to his script. On the other hand, flip it over. What do the Oilers have to do? They got off to a great start. Somebody has to make a play. The defense, Buddy Ryan's defense, hasn't come up with a big turnover, the big play yet, and that's why Buddy Ryan came to the Oilers, to make those kind of plays.
Second down and 7, Martin in motion. The blitz coming from Michael Barrow up the middle. They get rid of it. Complete to Dalton Hilliard. Hilliard to the 35, and he's got the first down. Again, Wilson with poise, saw the heat coming and got rid of it for an 18-yard gain.
This is really your 46 defense. I mean, you got the inside guys coming here. You got a middle linebacker coming. Everybody's coming on the blitz. But the first thing is Wade Wilson is he reads it. And then Chris Port, number 70, the left guard, does a great job of keeping out the middle linebacker. And then Dalton Hilliard cuts his route short and comes clean for the reception. I mean, that's a well-executed audible off a 46 blitz.
106 yards passing for Wilson now, 7 of 12. Again, pressure in his face, got rid of it. Martin makes the catch, and Bubba McDowell had a hand on him. They'll mark the play at the 41. Again, it wasn't pretty, but Wade Wilson's getting the job done. That ball was kind of floating out there, but he got it there.
Well, it was tipped. Michael Barrow, number 51, I think, got his arm. I mean, that's a courageous and a terrific throw by Wade Wilson. I mean, he said, I have to stand in the pocket with poise, and if I do so and I take some hits, we're going to come up with some plays in the passing game. Well, he's done that this first half.
We should mention Ray Childress has checked back into the ball game, so fortunately that arm was not injured as severely as he initially thought. Second and 5. Looks like the blitz coming again. Al Smith. Wilson. Caught beautifully by Eric Martin. To the 30. There's a flag on the play as he's tackled from behind at the 28. Eric Martin is a joy to watch. Looks like there's no place for that ball to go, and he comes up with a catch.
You're right. I mean, he...
Offside, number 50, defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
You know, he gets open for like a nanosecond. But if you get the ball near him, he's strong. He's got very strong hands. He'll shield you away with his body, and then he'll make a catch. And then he won't fumble.
You'd still be playing the league if you had him playing with you, right?
That's right. Rarely well, once in a while I got it near the receiver.
He has 5 catches now for 88 yards, 31-yard gain to the 29.
I'll tell you one thing, the Oilers better start doubling up on him, on Eric Martin.
Here is Hilliard. Hilliard trying to bend it against the grain. Pretty good reaction that time. That was Steve Jackson, who is their nickel defensive back, coming up to make the stop on the play. And we're going to come to the 2-minute warning, as it'll be a 2nd down and 9 for the Saints, who have a 10-7 lead. They trailed early in the ball game, a big turnover, eventually led to a field goal, and they added a touchdown later. And that's where we are right now.
I was born in a small town. That's where my customers are.
Every day, important business takes place in towns all across the country. And every day, we're a part of it. We're in hundreds of towns like Opelika, Walnut, Hope.
The Northwest Southeast is my territory.
Who would know better than Holiday Inn how to make your small town and big town meetings a big success?
Warm. Welcoming.
Just like the town I was born in.
Just like the town I was born in.
Holiday Inn. Stay with someone you know who really knows you.
Underneath every new Jimmy is the strength of a strong truck frame. An important advantage for towing, whether you're on-road or off-road. The GMC Jimmy. Drop in for a test drive.
You know, there should be a whole lot of road between you and your next set of tires. Uniroyal Tiger Paw radials. Sure-footed, mile after mile.
Here's a sport to try. Gillette Sensor has a sporty new look. Sensor Sport. Because it's not whether you win or lose. It's how you look playing the game.
Saints with a 10-7 lead, and stay with us for halftime. The Fruit of the Loom halftime report. Bob Neal, Kevin Kiley, Fran Tarkenton, their report on tonight's first half. And then Ernie Johnson in Atlanta will bring you all the highlights, interviews, and key plays from the opening week of the 1993 season.
You know, Fran really got this kind of run-and-shoot thing started. Really, early on. I mean, Fran was throwing that ball virtually every down up there with the Vikings and that Cole.
And he could scramble a little bit.
He could move around a little bit. He still can. I saw him before the game. Moving around all right.
2nd down, 9. We've just completed the 2-minute warning. Blitz coming. Wilson goes down. And there's a flag. There's got to be, because up the middle went Glenn Montgomery, but he was there prematurely. Here's the guy that's been their biggest surprise defensively from the University of Houston. Having to play, of course, because Lee Williams is out.
Offside. Defensive nose guard. 5 yards.
Glenn Montgomery right here gets a little bit anxious. You know, these defensive guys in this scheme for Buddy Ryan, that's in your face, it's penetrating kind of defense, but I tell you, they aren't watching the ball right now. I think it's the 4th time they've been offside.
Well, it's the 5th penalty against Houston in this ball game, and probably 4 of them have been offside.
And the way the New Orleans defense is playing is now the Oiler defense has to turn it around. They can't allow Wade Wilson to get the ball into the end zone for a touchdown before halftime.
2nd down and 4 after the penalty. Wainwright in motion. Derek Brown straight ahead. Looks like he has the first down. He's at the 17-yard line. That was Montgomery made the stop. That was a beautiful fake that time by Wade Wilson. As they get the first down, as they now have 1:41, the Saints have 2 timeouts remaining.
Well, you know, half the teams in the National Football League opened the NFL season today with new quarterbacks, the Saints being one of those. Jim Morris said, I wasn't sure what I was going to get, but if the first half is any indication, he's got a pretty good player in Wade Wilson.
First down from the 18. Wilson going up top. Martin Good defensive work that time by Steve Jackson, the former Purdue standout. Nothing there on that play. That'll stop the clock with 1:16 left to go.
Now, that really was good coverage by Steve Jackson, because every route that Eric Martin has caught has been over the middle, Gary. That time he fakes going down the middle, runs what's called a corner route, but Steve Jackson was not fooled and stays right there for the play.
Brings up 2nd down and 10.
Wade Wilson's thinking, don't take a negative play, and the Oilers are thinking just out. Turnover, sack, fumble.
Wilson, this time to Floyd Turner, some pushing and shoving going on. There's no flag on the play. It's incomplete. Turner being covered by Darrell Lewis, who started his first game tonight, the former Arizona standout. 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, this was, he had him there by a step. You know, no other wide receiver has caught a pass. I think it was maybe offensive pass interference, actually, Gary, as Turner pushed off him. But no other receiver, wide receiver, other than Eric Martin, has caught a ball for New Orleans.
Turner coming back from that broken leg of a year ago where he missed 14 games. Coming back slowly, but starting to look like the Turner of old.
This is the most important 3rd down of the first half, right now.
Wilson scrambling, in trouble, and he'll be dropped back inside the 20-yard line by Eddie Robinson. 4th down coming up, and here comes Morton Anderson. So they are 2 of 5 on 3rd down conversions.
So what has to happen here, I mean, it's obviously, you know, Morton Anderson comes on, but if you're the Oilers, at least I think Bubba McDowell. Here's the all-20, the defensive coverage by the Oilers. And again, he's not going to take any chances. He knows he has a kicker, Morton Anderson. He knows how well his defense is playing. I mean, that's a quarterback that's played 13 years. No negative plays. So just flipping it over. Think of Bubba McDowell for the Oilers. This is a guy that's blocked a lot of kicks and punts over the years.
Now, they've had a clock problem here. Wade Wilson came running on the field to the head linesman. He said, hey, the clock has continued to run, and they want to get that correct. It's 58 seconds right now, and Wilson running clear over to check things now with Bob McElwee. Morton Anderson has hit 21 field goals in a row. Now they're checking to see if that clock was in fact not right.
The thing about kickers, though, they're always over by themselves. You notice that they're always on the bench. They're never around anybody. Oh, Morton Anderson is a huddle there. Morton Anderson's a good 15 yards away from anybody. I mean, even his holder, Barnhart, won't have anything to do with him.
I'll tell you what, if he kicks this field goal, though, they'll run over to him.
That's right.
Well, the discussion going on. Where are we on this clock, guys? We have 58 seconds left as of this moment.
You know who else has played well this first half? It's Jay Hilgenberg. I see him going over to the huddle, number 62, filling in for his brother Joel.
It's quite a family act, isn't it? Joel was an all-pro last year. His brother 7 years in a row.
His dad was a center, I think, as well at Iowa.
Yeah, Jerry.
Only family I know that could play catch without looking at one another.
There must be some genes involved there somewhere, right?
Can you imagine? Let's go play some catch. Okay. You know, bend over, yeah.
Well, our spotter, Tom Delnos, is a center. He's a kind of a strange guy, so I guess that goes along that route, huh?
Wow.
Well, we may not have this game going here for a while. We have quite a discussion. Bob's going to explain this to us as we have an apparent field goal attempt.
Please reset the game clock to 1:07, which is where the clock was when the quarterback was sacked. 1:07.
And that's the reason Wade Wilson went running back out on the field. He knew that clock should have been stopped, so they're going to add 9 seconds.
Well, I think he wants it to run, though. I think he was trying to argue that they should have kept it running, but on the sack, it stopped.
Anyway, it's 1:07, and Morton Anderson will come in.
I mean, there's always several defining moments in every football game and every season, obviously. And you know, the Houston Oilers right now have no momentum going. Other than the opening drive, they really haven't been able to put much together. Jack Pardee team has to do something here. It can happen on offense, clearly, on defense, and on special teams. I mean, special team, block a field goal, make something happen.
That's that game we were talking about, those 6 field goals for the San Diego Chargers. They're off to a better start than they were a year ago when they started 0-4. Guess Boomer Esiason played well for the Jets. And what about... We weren't surprised, though, were we, by Joe Montana and how he played?
Looked like he had never missed the 2 years. Looked like he played like he was 27 years old rather than 37.
Hostetler with a strong game, and the Raiders with a victory. And the Raiders will be meeting the Seahawks, and that's next Sunday here on TNT.
You know, Rick Meyer didn't have a bad day today for Seattle. Rick Meyer, I think, is going to be a star in the National Football League. Now, it may not happen this year, but this is a guy that over the years is going to be a great player because he's played the big-time program at Notre Dame. He's played under pressure, knows what it's like. He's got all the physical tools.
And it's always fun to watch Cortez Kennedy.
Yeah, boy.
Now they're saying it's 1:04, but, you know, it's an awfully long discussion here about the time clock.
Yeah, well, we spent at least 10:04 trying to figure this baby out.
Well, Pardee's pointing, and Moore is pointing to the
Please
other side.
reset the game clock to 1:04.
Now I feel better.
I'm glad you do. So 3 seconds left. 3 seconds less in your life right now. They just took 3 seconds away from you.
Boy, I feel good. So it doesn't feel real good right now with Jack Pardee, though. I mean, this is a first half that got off to a very good start. I think the defense has not come up with the big negative plays that were anticipated. The offense had one good drive, and then the whole first half was turned around with Ricky Jackson's hustle. When Ricky Jackson forced the fumble, the momentum was changed.
This team had 50 sacks a year ago. Now we're going to have a timeout by Houston. Well, they'll have one remaining. They had 50 sacks last year, the Oilers did. They have put heat on Wade Wilson, but I'll give Wilson all the credit in the world. He has not rattled. He's been hanging in there very tough. Well, we think we're going to get the Fruit of the Loom halftime. We may never get there at this rate. Our trio down there, Mr. Neal and Kiley and Tarkenton, waiting patiently. There they are.
Neal and Tarkenton look like they could play. I'm not so sure about Kiley.
I don't know. I heard he was a mean dude. He was good at the blitz, I think.
He was. He looks like a blitz. He's got that neck going, and he's got the big coat. I mean, he's a determined guy, isn't he?
He sure is. I'll teach you guys to sit leisurely around.
They have the
look
coats
like
on.
you're working.
I like that, yeah.
Caught him unawares. I think we're going to get a field goal now, Pat.
Gotta hope so.
1:04 left. 10-7, the Saints. Morton Anderson, who has kicked 21 straight field goals, will attempt a 37-yarder. Barnhart on the hold, and Morton Anderson waited long enough that he had the kind of poise that he's always had and nails it. 13-7, the Saints with the lead. That's one way of freezing your kicker, isn't it? Waiting that long to get your time thing straightened out.
Well, I'll tell you what, those Saints were very aware of where Bubba McDowell was. Okay, this is the guy who blocks. This is right in here is Bubba McDowell, number 25. This is the guy that blocks at least one punt or a kick or an extra point a year. And they said, hey, with a little face mask on him, but the special teams coach, Joe Marciano of the Saints, said, we're going to have at least one big body on Bubba McDowell. You can't zone block him on punts or kicks.
All fairness to him, he's playing with a bruised back. He was telling us last night he didn't know how effective he would be in the special teams.
Well, I agree with Buddy Ryan. I think he's one of the real strong, young, strong safeties in the league. I mean, this is a guy that can, he can certainly cover. He can play special teams for you. He can blitz now. He's got great timing. He's got to figure out a way in this second half, though, to get a little bit closer to Wade Wilson.
So 13 straight points now by the Saints has given them a 13-7 lead with 1:01 left in the first half. Houston has one timeout remaining when they get the football.
And plenty of time. 1:01 with Warren Moon's offense and arm and those four wide receivers. He has plenty of time.
Morton Anderson now with 22 in a row. Two more, and he'll tie the record of Kevin Butler. to bring this one out. Into the 20-yard line, Houston will set it up. 1:01 to go, first half. One timeout left.
Well, Bucky Richardson, third-team quarterback. He's a special teamer. And we got him. Where's that number 7? Looks like old Dan Pastor. He's pretending he's going to block somebody there for a while. Finally gets a helmet on somebody. But Warren Moon says he has a big future in the NFL, he thought, as a quarterback, not just a special team guy.
Well, that's the reason he made it as a special teams guy, because they didn't know that he could play the quarterback position. All 4 kickoffs by Morton Anderson have been touchbacks. That's a weapon.
Warren Moon needs to get this momentum turned around right now.
Moon to Curtis Duncan, and that starts to turn things around. There's a flag on the play. It's enough for the first down if it stands, a 13-yard pickup.
I tell you, they could have called Kevin Donnelly for holding. It's against Turnbull. This is one of those matchups we talked about. Yeah,
that's what it is,
yeah.
Pat. It's going to be holding against Houston.
Well, that's the thing. When you have a speed guy like Turnbull
holding
on the outside.
Number 57, offense.
He missed
10 yards,
77.
first down.
Yeah, there's no 57, so it's Donnelly as you suspected.
Yeah, but you got to push him away from the quarterback around him. If you get your arm locked in him, they're going to call you for the hold. But if you push him away, you have a chance.
In all fairness, he started only 2 games at left tackle last year. Last week, he was a starting right guard. They had Bruce Matthews out there. Then they had all kinds of problems, so they moved Matthews to center, Donnelly out to left tackle.
And the Saints have 2 timeouts. If they stuff them here, they're going to use some of their timeouts.
First and 20. Draw handoff to Lorenzo White, and White gets some of it back, about 10 yards of it, out to the 20-yard line. You see the time remaining. Sam Mills over to make the stop. Again, the Oilers with 1 timeout. Ricky Jackson, I think, was offside as he fires off the left linebacker spot, and that'll stop that play.
False start before the snap, number 73 offense.
Well, it was Frank Warren instead. Jackson went from the near side. And David Williams was the guy that moved, and that'll be 5 yards.
Yeah, you don't blame these guys. David Williams is on the right, the left side of the screen. I mean, when you have a big old pass rusher, fast pass rusher like Ricky Jackson, who's lined up 4 yards outside you, you get anxious.
Yep.
I mean, you always criticize for getting your quarterback sacked. You're thinking about protecting him.
Well, he's such a bull-like rusher, a power rusher. You've got to set up for him, and Williams moved prematurely. Second and 13. Moon to Slaughter. He got it. Webster Slaughter with people coming from all 3 angles. Topped that, a 41-yard gain to the 41 of New Orleans.
You know, Toy Cook was saying you can't go to this is an absolutely perfect throw, and it's on a line. But Toy Cook was saying that the defensive back for New Orleans yesterday, when Warren Moon rolls away from you, as he did there, you can't go to sleep. I mean, because he's got a big enough arm to roll away from you and still throw a deep pass all the way down the other side of the field, and that's exactly what happened. He got the free safety, Gene Atkins, out of the play by the roll to the left. He comes back and throws it to his right.
41-yard gain. The Oilers use their final timeout. They're going to mark the ball just inside the 42.
Now, Del Greco, their kicker, got a career-long 54-yarder. And all that would mean they'd have to get to the 37-yard line to give him a chance. But I think they're still thinking touchdown here.
You know, he kicked a 55-yarder in the preseason. But as you mentioned, his career long in the regular season, 54 yards.
And that was a heck of a throw and a roll by Warren Moon. Gets the free safety out of the way. See, he rolls to his left. Free safety has to roll that way. Then he comes back to the right. And the free safety, 28, gets there late.
22 seconds left in the half. Warren Moon, a flag on the play. Moon to Gibbons. Intercepted by Toy Cook. To the 45 and 50. But again, we have penalty flags.
I think Warren Moon felt he had a free play there.
Cook was 6 interceptions last year. Let's see if this one stands.
Yeah, I think Moon felt he had a free play and was going to take a chance.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
It was offside against New Orleans.
You know, Warren Moon, I mean, he does not throw many interceptions. 46 career games without an interception.
Offside, number 57, defense. 5 yards, first down.
And it stops the clock with 12 seconds left. Again, Houston, no timeouts as they'll step off this 5-yard penalty, taking it inside the 40-yard line.
Yeah, just what Kevin Gilbride was saying, throw the ball away or outside to an outside receiver. You got no timeouts remaining. Now, again, he's right in Del Greco's, career range.
Yeah. Like to get to the 30 where you'd have a 47-yard field goal and make it a little more reasonable.
Here's where I think you have to jam the outside receivers. Don't give a cheap pass to the outside. Too much cushion up top there.
1st and 5 now for Houston. There's that 30-yard line area, and it's at the 31. Actually, we're given steps out of bounds to stop the clock with 6.
That's bad defense, though, Gary. I mean, when Houston has no timeouts, you have to press those outside receivers and don't give them an easy throw there. I mean, they know they didn't have a timeout, but you see all the big cushion right here? These guys have to be up in their face and don't give an easy one. I mean, they just made a much easier field goal for Al Del Greco.
What they're doing to measure, see if he got the first down. It's really academic, though, because it'll be 2nd down coming up inches as Del Greco now will come in and attempt this one.
Does have a new holder.
Yes, he does. Bucky Richardson. In fact, the stat they were given this week, Del Greco, in his 10 years in the league, has had 13 different holders.
Yep. You know, and every time a kicker misses a field goal that I've seen, they always blame it on the holder. I held for a guy one time, and he never missed a field goal. It was always my fault.
Probably was.
Terrible job.
This is going to be a 50-yard attempt. They're right on top of the 40. Somebody's thrown something on the field. They're going to stop it because a stream of toilet paper and then a timeout call. They're going to try to freeze Del Greco as the Saints use a timeout. They have one remaining, but they have a streamer flying through the air back at the 10-yard line.
You know, I'm not so much so sure it's so much freezing the kickers anymore. It's actually looking at the alignment of the protection. I mean, if you're thinking about a block, and Joe Marciano, the special teams coach for the Saints, if you're thinking about a block, you look at the protection and then you design it. Now again, here's another kicker all by himself. He's there at the 50. Ball's up at the 30.
Del Greco in the preseason was 6 of 7. We mentioned the 55-yarder. Outstanding golfer. He's a scratch golfer, one of the best probably of any NFL player. And he says he uses some of the same leverages, same angles in golf that he does in his kicking.
Say, this will be a huge momentum lifter for the Oilers if they can get 3 more points on the board before halftime. I mean, this is a team that has floundered other than their first drive of the half and now their last drive of the half.
So after the timeout, we still have 6 seconds and a 50-yard attempt. Del Greco's kick is up, and this kick is no good. And that brings us to the end of this first half. So the momentum that Pat was talking about for the Oilers does not materialize. Fruit of the Loom halftime coming up. Stay with us as the Saints, after trailing 7-0, 13 unanswered points to a 13-7 halfway mark lead.
Roger, I think it's time.
The baby?
Uh-huh.
Now?
Oh, yeah, but first we got to stop by the Great Rate Labor Day sale at Ken Garff.
What?
They've got 4.9% fixed financing.
Judy, you're not going to Ken Garff now.
Oh, but honey, this is our last chance to get a great deal on a 93 car truck at 4.9%.
Well, what about the baby?
Oh, you're right, dear. You'll make such a great dad.
Ah, thanks, honey.
Hey, there's a Ken Garff dealership right by the hospital. Maybe we could just swing by.
Honey?
McDonald's, huh?
Yeah.
Smells good.
Thanks.
If this ride were any longer, you'd have to fight for those fries.
We're stuck.
My, what an impressive display of casual sportswear. Did they pay?
The Fruit of the Loom Halftime Report is brought to you by Fruit of the Loom, clothes for the best of your life.
Well, the run-and-shoot offense of Houston has kind of run and misfired thus far, as the Saints have a 13-7 lead here at the first half. Warren Moon, 182 yards, 15 of 21 in the battle of the quarterbacks. And Wade Wilson, not bad, 9 of 16 for 142. We're going to come back with Fran and Kevin in a moment and talk about this first half and have their particular slants on what happened here in New Orleans. But right now, let's go to Ernie Johnson Jr. in Atlanta, who is going to be talking about what I think was a very wild finish between the Dolphins and the Colts.
Bob, you are exactly right. You want some big-time Week 1 drama, folks. You got it with the Colts and the Finns. It was a 20-17 game. Colts lead at the Hoosier Dome in front of the home folks. That's when Dan Marino went to work.
Throws in the end zone. Caught for a touchdown to Greg Beatty. Yes! 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 Yes!
Yes, indeed. With 35 seconds left, that is the game winner. Miami wins it 24-20. Yet another fourth-quarter comeback engineered by Dan Marino. The Giants won a thriller at Chicago as Phil Simms hit Jared Bunch with about a minute to play. Giants win it 26-20. Joe Montana, 14 out of 21, 246 yards, 3 touches. 27-3 Kansas City over Tampa Bay. And Chris Chandler re-injured his left ankle. X-rays were negative. Phoenix lost to Philadelphia 23-17. Now, when the Denver Broncos played the New York Jets today, Boomer Esiason had a big day for the Jets. He had 371 yards passing. John Elway, 20 out of 29 through the air. But the guy everybody was talking about was Denver's rookie, Glenn Milburn.
Here's Elway going back. The blitz. Quick pass. Milburn's got it across the 20. He puts another move on at the 15. 10, 5. Touchdown, Glenn Milburn.
Oh, man. Come on with this. Are you kidding me? Good. Googa Mooga. He left 3 or 4 Jets. Googa Mooga.
Where's that?
That's what you got to say when you see something like that.
Well, if you insist. Good Googa Mooga, 26-20. The Broncos win at 113 combined yards for Glenn Milburn, the second-round pick out of Stanford. San Diego got 6 field goals from John Carney. He's hit 22 straight, as has Morton Anderson now, beating Seattle 18-12. Buffalo, 4 touchdown passes from Jim Kelly. Drew Bledsoe threw for a couple. Buffalo over New England 38-14. Cleveland 27-14 over Cincinnati in the Battle of Ohio. David Klingler was sacked 6 times. When the Rams and the Packers played today at County Stadium in Milwaukee, everything went the Packers' way. For evidence, take a look at this.
And here is Brett Favre straight back in the pocket, and he slipped as he tried to set up. Now he's on the run. Now he's throwing downfield to Sterling Sharp. Sharp tried to get in position, and he got it. Touchdown. Sterling Sharp took it away from 2 defenders. All Favre did was put it up in the air, and Sterling Sharp down at the goal line on the alley-oop outfought 2 defenders for the ball.
It's Green Bay in a romp, 36-6 over the L.A. Rams. San Francisco beat Pittsburgh 24-13. Steve Young, 24 out of 36 with 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Detroit, 6 sacks of Chris Miller. They beat the Falcons 30-13. Barry Sanders had 90 yards on the ground. And the Raiders, how about this, folks? Jeff Hostetler only missed 4 passes, 23 out of 27. The Raiders beat the Vikings 24-7. And here on TNT tonight, the New Orleans Saints at the half with a 13-7 lead over the Houston Oilers. We'll send you back to the Superdome as the Fruit of the Loom halftime report continues after this.
children well.
Hey, buddy. You gonna do it alone this time?
Did slowly go by. Don't you ever ask them
When the time comes for a man to choose his own brand of underwear, more men choose Fruit of the Loom than any other brand. The reason is simple. Comfort. Because that's what real men want. Fruit of the Loom. Clothes for the best of your life.
The passion isn't only on the field. Players aren't the only ones who feel it. I can feel the passion from the fans in the last row. I know when they fear defeat. I know when they sense victory. If you live it, if you love it,
Relax and let TNT work a 3-day shift.
There's a lot to do here.
3 days of war.
I'll take a hamburger.
3 days of adventure.
I live for the day I see you hang.
3 days of raw. So take it easy and let us work 3 days of overtime. TNT's Labor Day weekend movie continues tomorrow on TNT.
Well, the New Orleans Saints have held the Houston Oilers to only 7 points here in the first half. That doesn't really surprise you very much because last year the New Orleans Saints led the entire league in points.
Yeah, it's like I said, and missing the field goal, I think, right before the halftime was a big blow to Houston as well. And that guy, Wade Wilson, he said, I want to stay in the pocket, I'm going to take some licks, but we're going to make some plays. And he's done that in the first half.
9 of 16, 142 yards. As we get ready now, Del Greco kicking off to start the second half. It's going to be Tyrone Hughes. 5th round draft choice out of Nebraska, brings it up to the 17-yard line. New Orleans will set it up there. Wade Wilson, who has kept his poise even though there's been people in his face. Been able to control this game and thus far have a 13-7 lead.
They have controlled it. The biggest surprise, I think, has been the Houston defense. This is supposed to be a pressuring, in-your-face, blitzing kind of defense, and they really haven't been able to cause the turnovers. Remember, Houston, their defense last year ranked highly, but they couldn't make the plays to stop drives, and they only had 31 turnovers.
3 wideouts on this play as they begin the second half from the Louisiana Superdome. Gary Bender along with Pat Hayden as we start a 93 season, game number 1. Wilson gives off to Lorenzo Neal, breaks the tackle to Bubba McDowell, and finally Marcus Robertson bulldogs him down. And that is what this guy has impressed us so much with, is how tough he is to tackle one-on-one Lorenzo Neal.
You know, Jim Moore said he's a horrible practice player, just horrible. Should cut him as a practice player. But when they gave him the ball in the preseason, he makes plays like this. He just bounces off guys. I mean, he keeps people away from his legs with the straight arm, and he bounces outside.
And he bounces to a first down. He was their leading rusher in the preseason, forced into a starting role because Brad Muster is out. Neal again. And Neal to the 32-yard line. Eddie Robinson made the stop there. Remarkably, as we said earlier, he was the WAC heavyweight wrestling champion. That's quite a combination.
Well, he looks like a wrestler. I mean, look at those arms and legs. I mean, he is a rookie. He was excited about opening the season. He said, you know, my first goal was to make the team. And then it was to kind of play special teams in the opener. And then when Brad Muster went down, he says, hey, all of a sudden I'm starting.
And he stepped forward and done a good job with that opportunity. 2nd and 7. Little handoff on the draw to Derek Brown, and Brown, another 4th-round draft pick. 2 rookies acquitting themselves well. A 14-yard pickup out across the 45-yard line.
Yeah, there's some nice blocking there. Derek Kennard, number 60, is the right guard. The center, Jay Hilgenberg, 77, William Rofe. All those guys, a perfect call. Everybody's coming upfield on the pass rush. Port, number 70, does his job. Gaping hole for the perfectly called play, the little draw play on an upfield rushers.
First down at the 45. Brown and Neal in the backfield. It'll be Brown. Brown, nice little move. A flag on the play. Fumbles the ball. It's going to be recovered, though, by Eric Martin inside the 40-yard line. But the penalty is going to be holding against New Orleans.
You know, the thing about Eric Martin, though, when he gets his hands around the ball, I mean...
Holding, number 62, offense. 10 yards, first down.
When Eric Martin gets his hands around the ball, even on the recovery there, I mean, it just kind of disappears. I mean, he's got incredibly strong hands.
Jay Hilgenberg guilty of holding.
On Childress, number 62. Yeah, that qualifies as a hold.
Yeah, I think that's not a subtle one at all.
No.
But again, give credit to Jay Hilgenberg. 34 years old, coming in with a week to get ready to start at center, replacing his brother Joel, who's down with a knee injury. So the penalty makes it 1st and 20.
Here's where the Oilers defense on this series really have to make a play. And then again, the Saints have it going again.
Wilson to Eric Martin, and Martin with yet another catch, his 6th of the game out to the 41. Darrell Lewis wrestles him down there. 6 for 94 yards. 3 straight years Eric Martin has been over 1,000 yards receiving. Marks it out to the 42. Still going to be a long ways to go for that first down. It'll be 2nd down and 14. Wilson to Martin, and again he makes the catch. He caught that ball over Steve Jackson. It looked like Jackson had him covered very well, and Martin reaches up and catches one for a 21-yard gain.
William Rope, number 77 on Fuller, number 95 for the Oilers. Rope, we talked about him being the #1 draft pick. That time he just gets barreled over by William Fuller. But this was a remarkable catch. Again, when the thing gets near him, his hands get up in time. And again, there's no bobble when he catches the ball. When the ball is thrown his way, he gets his hands on it. There's no bobble. You can't knock it away out of his strong hands.
First down at the 41-yard line. Derek Brown quickly off the mark to the 31-yard line. He exploded that time as he got through that little crease in the middle, and he has, it looks like, another first down.
Jim Mora was talking to us the other day about, hey, we've been horrible running the football. Well, he's got a couple questions so far answered about his 1993 team. It looks like, it appears that they're going to be able to run the ball a little bit better, particularly behind William Rope. And secondly, Wade Wilson, certainly off the first 2.5 quarters, he's a capable quarterback that's played very well against the Oilers.
It is a first down at the 31. Again, this time a lot of congestion up the middle. Not much going that time. Robinson, number 50, now a little extracurricular activity going on. Derek Kennard not happy about the way he's being treated. Kennard and Rolfe on the right side of that offensive line. They've been running right behind him.
And Derek Kennard's a big guy to run around, but if you're a little defensive back, like in your number's 25, you don't pick on those 60s. Guy with a 60, you don't match up. And that's what happens. Yeah. Come on, Wade. Get over there and help him a little bit.
41 yards rushing on this drive. I mean, only 24 in the first half for New Orleans. 2nd down. 9 yards to go. Wide open to Brown. Brown with a move to try to get the first down. He got it with a good, resourceful effort inside the 20 to the 19. Bubba McDowell finally tackled this guy. He's not all that big, but he is strong at 5'9" and 186.
You know, give Carl Smith, the offensive coordinator, some credit because he has done a lot of mixing it up here. This time it's a quick rhythm pass. If you're going to beat a blitzing defense, get rid of the ball quickly. I tell you, McDowell wrapped him up there, but he could not stop it, the churning Brown.
Boy, he knew where he had to get for that first down. 11-yard gain. There's Carl Smith.
He's done a nice job of play calling tonight.
They've been criticized for being conservative, but they've been very imaginative here tonight.
Yeah, that was a nice call there.
Lorenzo Neal to the 10. He just knocked over somebody and takes it to the 5. That somebody was Marcus Robertson.
Look at him. You think he's proud of himself? The way he was walking back in the huddle, he should be.
13-yard run, 1st and goal for the Saints.
That you can't arm tackle Lorenzo Neal, as William Fuller finds out. I mean, Neal is 240 pounds, and it's going to take a lot more than an arm, and it's going to take a lot more than a helmet or a shoulder pad, and it's going to take a couple of guys to bring down Lorenzo Neal. I mean, this drive has been longer than Bonanza was on the air.
He doesn't like those takedowns. Those wrestlers don't like it. 1st and goal at the 6. Here's Neal again, turning the legs, getting something where there wasn't much there. Just inside the 5. It'll be 2nd and goal.
His helmet and everything.
Think about this team. Craig Ironhead Haywood goes to Chicago. Brad Muster comes here, and they get a Ironhead type running back out of Neal.
You know, again, you find out something about your team generally in the preseason. And what Jim Moore found out about Lorenzo Neal was he had a gamer, a guy that looked horrible in practice but played well when it counted. And he's done it again tonight.
2nd and goal for the 4, the 11th play of the drive. Derek Brown fighting for the goal line. No indication that he got in. He's going to be denied the touchdown. It'll be 3rd and goal. 3rd and goal. Let's look at it again.
A big hole there as the right side just kind of comes down. Port number 7, he comes around, puts the block on Barrow, and then Brown just follows that. But it was a good pull and block by number 70, Chris Port, who led the way for Brown.
Look at Bubba McDowell. He about took his head off.
He's keeping him out of that end zone. I think the ball may have actually hit the plane of the goal line there. That may have been a touchdown. That should have been a touchdown.
And we're going to have a timeout called by the Saints. We'll come back 3rd and goal at the half-yard line. The Saints trying to build their 13-7 lead.
Get ready for the all-new Utah Jazz case lot sale. 24 games, 24 teams, 24 coats. That's right, you'll see the Jazz take on the superstars of the NBA in the same reserve seats for 24 amazing games, including the Chicago Bulls, the Phoenix Suns, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Orlando Magic, and every otother team in the NBA except New York and New Jersey. And you'll get a case of Coke Classic Diet Coke or Sprite free. Order your Utah Jazz case lot package today. Call
355 Coke.
McDonald's, huh?
Yeah.
Smells good.
Thanks.
If this ride were any longer, you'd have to fight for those fries.
We're stuck.
The Electronics Place, Utah's newest electronics superstore, celebrates Labor Day with their incredible grand opening sale. Unbelievable prices in all departments. VHS video recorders from $139. Remote control color TVs from $169. Epson 486 notebook computer, $12.99. Magnavox 25-inch color TV, $2.99. Come help us celebrate at 7200 South State Street. The Electronics Place. We beat any price.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New Orleans Saints and the National Football League is prohibited.
Gary, I thought maybe Derek Brown got the ball into the end zone, but I guess they ruled that he was stopped short, and they put it down on the inside the 1.
And it's a 3rd and goal here. Neal and Brown on the backfield. Here comes Brown. Brown diving again. No hands in the air indicating a touchdown, so it'll be 4th and goal now. And they're going to bring in Morton Anderson. But this is a wise call because if you kick a field goal, it gives you a 16-7 lead, and a touchdown and a point after can't tie it up.
Well, there's some debate whether Derek Brown got in on one run a couple of plays ago, but nonetheless, they take the easy course here. It's the right call when your defense is playing as well as they are.
And Mr. Automatic coming in here. 22 in a row now. This will be an 18-yard attempt. You don't like this?
No, I think it's the right call now because of the way the defense is playing.
All right, Anderson kicks it, and we go to 16-7. 6:51 left to go here in this third quarter. Very impressive drive, taking over 7.5 minutes to culminate into 3 points.
Even if you can afford some of life's luxuries, you still need a way to get them home. Which is why the Isuzu Trooper comes with a cavernous amount of cargo space. 90.2 cubic feet to be exact.
850, known bid 850. Masha, sold to the gentleman in the blue blazer.
Plus, it's got a rather large towing capacity. The Isuzu Trooper, practically amazing.
Ain't it right, blue sight, puts up a fight, blue sight. Stay so bright, beautiful sight, blue sight. Pure delight, blue sight. Dynamite, blue sight. Scrubs up right, excite, excite, blue sight. Wear the tight, blue sight. Feels so right, blue sight. Black and white, colors bright. Hold on tight, blue sight. A lasting sight, blue sight. For a finish that won't quit, blue sight, right.
My family's been brewing beer around here for 120 years. Every now and then, I think that's a big accomplishment. That's when it's time to come out here. It's nice to get a little perspective.
Sunday night NFL on TNT. The rivalry between the Raiders and Seahawks goes beyond words. Better not sit too close to this one. Raiders, Seahawks, next Sunday night on TNT.
16 unanswered points now by the Saints. 16-7 lead. That last drive taking 8 minutes and 9 seconds as Anderson with his 5th touchback of the game. You just don't get a chance to return a kickoff against Morten Andersen. Well, he kicked his 23rd straight field goal a moment ago. Let's go back and watch the snap.
Yeah, this is called get a grip on it, Jay. Jay Hilgenberg. You know, quarterbacks sometimes don't like the grip. Centers don't like it. Kind of flipped it around twice and ended up right where he started. I can tell that's Jay and not Joel. Can't you?
I'm not going to ask how you can.
Anyway, a good snap there by Jay Hilgenberg. That runs in the family. There he is. Dad was a center. He's a center. Brother's a center.
From the 20-yard line, first down. Houston needs to get something going. They pick up the blitz well. The pass bobbled by Slaughter, but he catches it on the second attempt and gets the first down. Troy Cook was on a blitz, and they picked him up. That'll be a 13-yard gain. First half started out very well on the initial drive. Look at that, 11 plays, 80 yards. Look at this now. Fumble, punt, and a missed field goal. And they've had 2 11-play drives. And on the other end, the Saints really have gotten some continuity going offensively.
Yeah, the Saints have done a great job of really just kind of dinking the ball here, dinking the ball there, reading the blitz, calling the right draw. And their defense has played great.
They're on a first down. Catch is made by Jeffries inside the 50 to the 48 of New Orleans.
Now, Warren Moon said to us yesterday, he said, you know, what kind of matchups do you like in this game? He said, I like anybody that matches up with Haywood Jeffries. Whoever covers Haywood Jeffries, I want to pick on him because I think Haywood Jeffries can get open, he can come back to the ball and make plays like that.
19-yard gain to the 49-yard line of the Saints. So on 2 completions now, the Oilers have crossed the midfield stripe.
Well, they have not run a screen yet, and it's available against the zone defense of the Saints.
Slaughter goes in motion. 5:30 to go in the third. Moon, 3 in a row now. This time he goes to Gibbons. 3 Pro Bowl receivers he's throwing to. All of them in the Pro Bowl a year ago. First time in history that 3 guys from the same team could get that honor. Jeffries, Gibbons, and Duncan. And then Slaughter was in the Pro Bowl when he played with the Cleveland Browns. So what an arsenal he has.
Yeah. Gibbons, 37 touchdown receptions over the last 8 years.
Look at the distribution,
Pat. Moved it around. That's what makes them difficult to defend. It's easy to say, okay, I'm going to go out and try to double cover one receiver, but you can't do it. They attack on every play.
2nd and 1. whistled for, and Toy Cook has it. Toy Cook with the interception. He just took it away from Curtis Duncan.
Toy Cook is having a great game. He really is. Number 41 right there at the top of the screen. I mean, he reads it perfectly. He's not the fastest corner in the league, but he's one of the smartest. Read the pattern, drove on time, makes the interceptions, and the Saints have a first down in the ball again.
From Brussels to Budapest, Milan to Munich, Delta gives you more non-stops to more cities in Europe than any other airline in the world. 290 weekly flights, 21 countries. More Europe, more often. Nobody gives you more of Europe than Delta Airlines.
Okay, pull away from the curb and take a left at the end of the block.
Yes, sir.
Is this a new trooper?
Yes, sir. It's my mom's.
Tell you what, take a right instead.
Yes, sir.
If ever there was an excuse for driving a little bit out of your way, this is it.
Very nice.
Wait, I didn't get to parallel park.
You're right.
The Isuzu Trooper. Practically amazing.
Very nice.
Warren Moon had hit 3 in a row. Looked like the rhythm was back. They had their offense really going. Then Toy Cook, who's played so well, comes up with the interception.
You know, we talked about him. This is a guy that's not necessarily the quickest corner in the league, but what he does is he reads patterns well. I mean, and that's one of those momentum changers that the Saints have done so well on defense tonight, where they haven't gotten that from the Oiler defense. And again, that's what Buddy Ryan was brought in to do, to change the momentum on defense. They haven't done it, but the Saints have.
Cook has a sack, 5 tackles to go with that interception. Remember, he had an interception called back by a penalty in the first half.
Right.
Sets it up now at the 39-yard line. Wade Wilson and the Saints with a 16-7 lead. Slant, and Martin takes a pop on that. Even Martin couldn't hang on to that one, as Marcus Robertson was there. Big hit separated him from making another catch.
Inside man on the top of the screen is Eric Martin, and it's the free safety who gets a full run on it, Marcus Robertson.
Ooh. It'll take your arms off, won't it?
Yeah, but that's the kind of play the defense is going to have to make if the Oilers are going to get back in this game. Remember, the Saints are up 16-7, and as soon as they cross the 50-yard line, you got Morton Anderson.
Second down and 10. Turner goes in motion. Little flare pass to Derek Brown. Nice open field move, but Eddie Robinson read it and stayed with it. Eddie Robinson has graded the highest of any of their linebackers the last 2 games, and his dad works here in the Superdome. He's from the Louisiana area, went to Brother Martin High School in the New Orleans area.
Yeah, his dad is the events coordinator here, and you know, Buddy Ryan was saying about Eddie Robinson is that he's good for 2 or 3 big plays a game. He did it last year for the Oilers, did it in the preseason, and he needs 1 or 2 here in this second half.
3rd and 6 now for the Saints. Wilson. Complete to Quinn Early, and Early to the 40, first down. Early, their fastest wide receiver, just latched on to a 17-yarder, his first catch of the season.
This offensive line has done a fabulous job of protecting Wade Wilson. Watch these guys. There's a big old pocket. No, everybody comes outside, but Wade Wilson can step up into the pocket. And when you do that, you have a chance to pick out some lanes, find receivers, you see the whole field, and you can lead the receiver. I mean, that was just, that's where it all starts with those big old offensive linemen.
Quinn Early was a track star when he was in high school in the New Jersey area. A 17-yard gain to the 40. Here's Neal again. Neal inside the 40 to the 39 and shoved backwards. Right now, the Saints doing exactly what they want. They have a lead. They're taking some time off the clock, keeping Warren Moon off the football field.
Yeah, I mean, it's the perfect script. Absolutely perfect script. Now you're virtually in range for Morton Anderson. I mean, you can put yourself up to force the Oilers to score 3 times to beat you. And on this Saint defense, it's just not going to happen.
2nd down and 9. Brown and Neal in the backfield. Wilson. Catch is made inside the 30. That's Early coming back to the ball. And they have another first down.
And Gary, there's still a lot of football to be played. 2 minutes and 15 seconds in the 3rd quarter. Saints up 16-7. But if Wade Wilson doesn't turn this ball over, the Saints are going to win this football game, the way their defense is playing. The only way I think the Saints can lose is by negative plays. A sack and a fumble or an interception. But again, good protection, throw the ball away from the defender, and pick up a first.
All at the 29. A minute 50 now left in the 3rd quarter. Sprint draw handoff to Brown, and Brown makes something out of nothing. He was able to run through the grass, but Sean Jones stay on his feet for maybe a couple of yards. It'll bring up a 2nd down. 2nd down, virtually 9 yards to go.
Oh, William Rofe out there is hustling, number 77, the right tackle. Now, you have to be able to block big defensive linemen, big defensive ends, and you have to block some quick linebackers as well. I mean, it wasn't a dominating block, but he did get Eddie Robinson out of the way.
William Rofe, 1st round, 8th pick in the draft, and he's going to be around a long time. Going up top, the ball intended for Early. He tried to adjust to it. Coverage by Jackson and also Darrell Lewis.
You know, that was a nice play by Steve Jackson, number 24, but he had a chance to pick it off. And at this point in this game, this is the time you have to. He's number 24 at the top. He gets turned, sees the ball. Now he's going to go make a play, make an interception, turn the game around. I mean, yeah, he knocked it away, but that's the difference. I mean, that's the problem with the Oilers defense. They didn't make last year the game decider plays, interceptions, fumbles.
Boy, this quarter, New Orleans has had the ball 11 minutes and 49 seconds. 3rd down, virtually 10. Scrambling out, complete to Dalton Hilliard. He'll lose yardage. It'll bring up 4th down, but you still have Morton Anderson well within his range. This will be about a 47, 48-yard field goal. I think some people were skeptical that Wade Wilson was the move they needed to make when Bobby Hebert elected to go elsewhere. They didn't want to go through another holdout year with Hebert, and so they bring Wilson from Atlanta. Hebert ends up in the Falcons territory, but he has really done a job in this first game. Now, this would tie the record by Kevin Butler, a 47-yard attempt. His 4th attempt of the night. Anderson's kick is on the way, and he has tied it.
He deserves a record.
24 field goals in a row. 19-7. The Saints.
Several years ago, I was introduced to Spartan while using my influence as a sportscaster to buy my son a new Jeep at another dealer. Oh, my son walked in by himself at Spartan and got a better price. So much for influence. My latest choice, this 94 Grand Cherokee. Ready for a new Jeep or Eagle? See the guys who let you choose the terms. Summit, Vision, Talent, with rebates up to $2,500. Your rebate can lower monthly payments $150. Use it for a down payment or just keep the cash. At Utah's Choice, Spartan Jeep Eagle.
One MRI scan, $1,100.
There's no question healthcare costs are high.
2 pain relievers, $5.
That's why you need someone to work in your behalf to lower those costs.
1 hospital stay per night, $1,500.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield, we don't own hospitals or employ physicians.
1 open heart surgery, $30,000.
Our only job is to manage your healthcare dollars.
1 human life, absolutely priceless.
We don't provide medical care. We provide a way to make it affordable.
Come see the wildest show on turf.
University of Utah football. Season tickets are on sale now. Call 581-UTIX.
Ernie Johnson in Atlanta will send you back to the Superdome in just a second. First, it's time for the Isuzu Play of the Day, and it comes from the Bears-Giants game at Soldier Field. Phil Simms takes the snap to Rodney Hampton, back to Simms, to Mark Jackson, the old Denver Bronco, who not only hauls it in, but goes into the zone with style. That is the Isuzu Practically Amazing Play of the Day. Now back to Gary and Pat.
We come back. The Houston Oilers trailing 19-7. Willie Drury will bring it out for Houston, out across the 25 to the 28-yard line. As we come to the end of this first quarter, the Saints very opportunistic. They've scored 6 points on 2 turnovers. The last one coming on that 47-yard field goal by Morton Anderson.
Think of all this as a large block of ice. Think of this as a chip off the old block. Coors Light's aged ice cold. So when you think of ice, think of the silver bullet. The only way to chill.
It's been our observation that where there's a popular car, there's a lease. And where there's a lease, there's one of these. And, well, here's ours, accompanied by the Fillmore String Quartet, who, by the way, would all fit very comfortably inside the Isuzu Trooper, seeing how it's probably the most spacious four-wheel drive around. Why, they could probably even add another member if they wanted to. Maybe not.
Clear for Warren Moon. He needs 2 touchdowns. Don't worry about field goals now. 2 touchdowns.
Slaughter in motion. A little end around to Gibbons, and that didn't fool anybody. They had tripped over his own teammate as he tried to get out to the 30-yard line. Hey, Houston, after they started this game so impressively, have just not been able to get anything going since that big turnover back in the first quarter.
You know, it's usually the Houston offense that doesn't let you get into rhythm because, you know, they throw a ball here, there, and they're attacking all the time. But the Saints defense, honestly, has really gotten the Houston team out of rhythm. They haven't been able to get back to it since that first drive.
Well, they had an interception, 2 punts, and a missed field goal after that turnover in the first half. Completion to Gibbons, and he is hounded by Vince Buck. I mean, hit and short of the first down. Buck stopped him about a yard short.
Yeah, but Ernest Gibbons, one more time, just bounces right up. I mean, he takes a real shot from Vince Buck. I mean, think about Gibbons. He may be small, but he's not afraid to run through the...
Well, we have a personal foul now against New Orleans.
Maybe it was a shot to the head.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 91 defense, 15 yards, first down.
That's Robert Pig Golf, the defensive end. I did not see that at all. We were watching the hit by Vince Buck, so that will give them the first down. They were 2 yards short of it.
Well, the Saints, the least penalized team a year ago, #1 ranked defense. Special teams were great. But the only element they really missed was a dynamic offense. Tonight, the offense has been efficient. They put up 19 points on the board, and they have been efficient and made plays when they've had to.
And you saw how long they've had the football in the second half. Slaughter in motion, handoff to White. White dancing outside, and a lot of black shirts reacting to the ball. Sam Mills, who's just a delightful guy to be around, number 51. So bright, has tremendous vision, and when they play this dime defense, he's out there roving from sideline to sideline at linebacker.
He said it's really tough playing against his run and shoot as a middle linebacker because in a 34, he says, I know where people are coming from and who's going to block me. But in a run and shoot, I mean, it's all kinds of different guys. It's hard to get into a feel of where the blockers are coming.
Second down, 6 as we come close to 13 minutes left in the game. Flags everywhere. Ricky Jackson again looked like he may have left, but was he drawn? Ricky Jackson's so relentless.
Ball start before the snap. center. 74.
Yeah, you know,
5 yards, second down.
Steve Sidwell was saying about Ricky Jackson that, you know, I keep waiting for him to slow down, Ricky Jackson. But now in his 13th year, he doesn't. There's Steve Sidwell. He's done a marvelous job with this defense over this years.
You can see Bruce Matthews now, the little movement here. And he saw it, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you're watching the ball rather than listening to the quarterback.
35-year-old Ricky Jackson had his finest year last year. 5th time to go to the Pro Bowl. 2nd and 11. Moon surveys everything and has Jeffries on the receiving end as Haywood Jeffries will skip out of bounds short of the 40-yard line. Jimmy Spencer, who told us he would be trying to stay with Haywood Jeffries, and that's a tall assignment.
You know, Haywood Jeffries, he is at his best when the ball is in the air. I mean, all the other 3 receivers you can kind of, you know, fit in a phone booth. They're pretty small guys. But Haywood Jeffries has got some size. He's 6'2", and when the ball's in the air, he can adjust, just like he did in the 1 touchdown catch in the first quarter.
6th catch of the night for Haywood, 65 yards. 3rd down and 3. Adjusting to the ball. He and Vince Buck were kind of tangled up inside the 5. I tell you, Slaughter really fought his way to the football, just could not make the catch.
Yeah, you're talking about adjustments. Weston Slaughter was trying to adjust here, but it could have been called for offensive pass interference. Again, it's the roll away again. Good coverage there by Buck. And here's the play. You know, that wasn't offensive pass interference. That was just great effort there by Webster Slaughter. Those are the kind of plays they haven't made tonight. The Saints have.
4th down, and they're going to go for it. 4th and 3. And a tremendous hit by Mills. The ball is picked up, and on his way is Frank Warren. Warren will take it in. It's a touchdown for New Orleans.
Of the Saints play all the time on offense and defense. It's one thing to blitz. It's the other to have it perfectly timed, know where the ball is, and strip it at the quarterback. I mean, that's what Sam Mills did. I mean, he did the study. He knew when in the film room, he knew when the snap count was going to be. Got off on a perfect line to Warren Moon, and he sets up Frank Warren.
And Frank Warren, 47 yards on the fumble recovery for the touchdown. 25-7. Anderson adds a point after. And the team picked by many to win the AFC. The Houston Oilers find themselves down 26-7 in the first game of the regular season.
No matter how uncomfortable life may get, with ribbed whites from Fruit of the Loom, at least your underwear will be comfortable.
Linda, will you?
They don't just look good. They're made to hug your body.
Linda?
To move with you. Some things are bound to make you uncomfortable. With ribbed whites,
Linda,
your underwear will never be one of them. Ribbed whites from Fruit of the Loom. Clothes for the best of your life.
Marry me.
Problems. 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 Solutions, solutions, solutions. Pour Gum Out fuel system cleaners right in your gas tank, and with just one tank full, you'll get better engine performance, performance, performance. Gum Out, solutions to engine problems. From the people at Pennzoil.
Gillette introduces the best shaving gel ever. New Gillette Gel. Advanced lubricants. Easier razor glide. An incredibly smooth shave. Now, the best gel is Gillette Gel.
Unforgiven is a hit. Winner of 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Eastwood's Best, and Instant Classic, one of the finest Westerns ever made. Unforgiven. Bring it home now.
This is a very quick play by Sam Mills. Watch how fast he gets on top of Warren Moon. No chance.
And Frank Warren, who never was known for his halfback ability, but maybe the fastest defensive lineman, by the way. They were telling me he can really get up and run, went 47 yards after that play by Mills. Here's the first return of the night against Gordon Anderson, and Marcus Dowdell was down there to make the tackle. A flag on the play at the 15-yard line. This crowd is pumped right now, and as well they should be. He'll lose good use of the hands against the Houston Oilers.
Holding number 48 on the return, half the distance to the goal line. First down. Timeout.
26-7. The Saints with the lead. 11:52 left to go.
For centuries, the North Star has guided man's travels. Then the North Star system by Cadillac created a higher standard of automotive travel. Now its proven technologies will also guide the new Seville SLS, Eldorado, and coming October 7th, the North Star system will guide an entirely new class of luxury automobile, the Cadillac DeVille Concours. The advanced North Star system by Cadillac, creating a higher standard.
Make it right, lose sight. Puts up a fight, lose sight. Stay so bright, beautiful sight, lose sight. Pure delight, lose sight. Dynamite, lose sight. Struck up right, excite, excite, lose sight. Wear the tight, lose sight. Feels so right, lose sight. Black and white, colors bright. Hold on tight, lose sight. A lasting sight, lose sight. For a finish that won't quit, lose sight, right.
Well, if that 26-7 lead holds up for the New Orleans Saints, there'll be some premature dancing on Bourbon Street. You can bet on that. But remember, the run and shoot can come back. By the way, right after the game, Fran Tarkenton and Kevin Kiley will be with me on our post-game show. We'll be interviewing the players, and we'll talk to that big defensive lineman, Frank Warren, about running that ball back for the touchdown. We'll see you right after the game.
Okay, Bob. I tell you, Warren had that ball tucked away like he knew what he was doing, didn't he?
Yeah. I thought the game had expired, though, by the time he got to the end zone. I mean, that was the complete 2-minute drill. Just give him the ball and let him run.
Well, 13 points off of turnovers.
Well, you know, for the Houston Oilers now, they need, 3 touchdowns. Virtually impossible against this New Orleans Saints defense. And Warren Moon was talking yesterday to us about getting off to a fast start, getting the season off right, realizing this could be the last go-around. Clearly, it's not gone well.
Well, they lost their season opener last year to the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's the worst starting field position of the game now for Houston. Lorenzo White trying to get him some operating room. Comes out close to the 10-yard line. It'll bring up a second down.
Jerry, I think about what Jim Mora told us, too, this week, that he said, hey, we have to score at least 20 points to win this game. Now, he did say he expected the Oilers to score a lot. But he said, if we can score 20 points or more, we have a very good chance of winning this football game.
Jim Mora came in here 6-2 against the AFC Central. Second down and 7. That's almost intercepted. The ball intended on the near side for Curtis Duncan. And Vince Buck, further up the field, had all kinds of ideas of picking that one off and taking it in.
Yeah, he had larceny in his heart, but his feet were too honest, I mean, he did.
Is that a poem or something? That sounds poetic.
I don't know, somebody said too long. Larceny in his heart, his feet were too honest. But, everybody in the stands anticipated that interception. They saw what was developing. They thought he was going to get a chance to step in front of the pass and score. But again, it's just a little too far out of his reach.
Third down, 7. Gibbons had to go to his knees, now giving ground. And wait a minute, I I think they're going to rule that ball was trapped. It's incomplete. Gibbons went down, and now we have a little fight breaking out. Troy Cook and Gibbons were going after each other, but the ball was incomplete as Gibbons had to go to his knees. Frustrated Houston team, quite obviously.
Well, this has been a frustrated team since their playoff loss to Buffalo a year ago.
That's an interesting point, because Warren Moon said we need to get this season started so people quit talking about that big comeback, the game we lost to the Buffalo Bills.
Here's the non-catch. I don't know about that.
Well, I think it skipped. I think it hit. Yeah.
Necessary roughness, 81 Houston. After the play, the down count. The down count.
So it's 4th down, and then Gibbons is given a personal foul, and we've got a timeout. 11:04 left to go. Houston frustrated, obviously, trailing 26-7.
ZCMI offers you 12 months interest-free on the best in electronics, furniture, and so much more. Receive 12 months interest-free. Monday only on everything from recliners, TVs and stereos, to computers. Monday only. ZCMI knows what you want. But hurry, 12-month interest-free Monday doesn't last forever.
The results are in. A Dan Jones survey asked Wasatch Front adults to name their favorite fine dining restaurant. And the #1 choice? Muldoon's. Not only the favorite, but also #1 in where to impress an out-of-town guest. And #1 in menu variety. Why Muldoon's? Because they offer truly memorable dining with a complimentary evening shrimp bowl. For lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch, it's Muldoon's. Selected #1 for fine dining. What else is there to say? How about thanks, Utah?
It's the Chevy authorized year-end clearance sale at your neighborhood Rocky Mountain Chevy Geo dealer. Now till September 22nd, you'll get over $1,900 in option discounts, up to $1,500 in cash back, and this decade's lowest interest. Act now and lease a '93 full-size Chevy pickup for just $229 a month for only 24 months. Factory authorized year-end clearance now till September 22nd at your neighborhood Rocky Mountain Chevy Geo dealer.
Sunday night NFL on TNT. The rivalry between the Raiders and Seahawks goes beyond words. Better not sit too close to this one. Raiders, Seahawks. Next Sunday night on TNT.
26-7 just a moment ago. Back to punt the football. Greg Montgomery for the Houston Oilers. Now watch what happens. He gets rid of this punt. And then James Williams comes piling into him, running into the kicker. That'll be an automatic first down, a 15-yard penalty. And so the Oilers have a new life. Meanwhile, we have a man hurt for the Houston Oilers, Bucky Richardson.
He's that third-team quarterback we talked about who's made a heck of a tackle there.
Oh,
right knee.
Man, I hate to see that. Man. Bent backwards, and so they are looking him over at the 38-yard line. But what this amounts to is the Oilers are going to have the ball now at the 20-yard line.
That's a really stupid play by New Orleans. I mean, you're up 26-7. You have him backed in your end zone punting. I mean, it's okay to rush the punter, hurry him a little bit, but if you're going to, you rush him from the side and dive away from him, so you're not going to get a roughing the kicker penalty when you're protecting a lead.
Let's take another angle at the Williams miscue. Boy, I tell you, Damon Winston was also there. So Richardson, fortunately, is walking off on his own power. And so the Oilers have a shot yet. They're at the 20 as Richardson retreats to the far sideline. 10:53 left in the game. Houston has all three of their timeouts, trailing 26-7.
You know, Gary, one of the things I'm really surprised about with Houston, and we talked about it the last few days, is they're one of the great screening teams in the NFL, and we have not seen Lorenzo White on a screen. And they're a good screening team because they have offensive linemen who can get out there and block little defensive backs. And secondly, people play a lot of zone defense against them to guard against the run and shoot.
And boy, that's a good way to negate all that rush that they've been getting. first downs in this half for Houston, and 2 of them by penalty. Moon going up top. Haywood Jeffries comes up with the catch. No, he was out of bounds. And the bench over there pleading their cause, but that's not going to change the call. He was out of bounds when he made the grab.
So we talked about him being very good when the ball's in the air. One. Nope. Yeah, good call. Still was a heck of a catch.
Well, they need a quick strike if they're going to somehow try to pull this one out, and that could have really helped their cause. It'll bring up now 2nd and 10.
Yeah, when you're playing zone defense as the Saints are, though, you shouldn't be beaten deep. And if zone is purposely designed for that, don't give up the big play.
Moon, there's a screen over the middle. Lorenzo White stays on his feet to the 25-yard line. A gain of 5. It'll be 3rd down and 5 there. Gene Atkins, the free safety, over to make the tackle.
And the reason that screen didn't work, Gary, is that Warren Moon had to throw that ball a little too high, a little too much loft on it because of the rush to get it over the defenders. The ball was in the air a long time, and then the defenders were able to make the play.
Approaching 10 minutes to go in the game. The ball is loose. At the 5-yard line, Toy Cook has it, but it was missed on the blitz, and Warren Moon hit from the same side for the 2nd time, and we have him down. That's the 4th turnover in the game for the Houston Oilers.
Very reminiscent of the opener last year against Pittsburgh. Off the corners. Off the corners when their defensive backs came in and blitzed him. Same thing the Saints have done. Have taken a page at the Pittsburgh Steelers blitz, and you can see both guys come up top, Buck and Cook. One makes the fumble, causes the fumble, and Cook makes the recovery.
And Moon is still down at the 15.
Remember when Rod Woodson did it in the opener last year a few times?
Yes.
Really the same play, the same design. It's Buck on the hit, and Toy Cook on the recovery.
Okay, this Saints team is a nasty streak, don't they? They just come out and pound you.
You wondered, hey, with the Saint defense, they had some age on them. They lost Pat Swilling to the Detroit Lions, but they have played magnificently tonight.
How about Toy Cook? With that fumble recovery, he now has an interception, a sack, and 5 tackles. He's done a little bit of everything. Well, we have Moon being looked at. We're going to take a look at Week 1 in the NFL on the Silver Bullet scoreboard. And the Giants behind Phil Simms, winning as Dave Wanstead made his debut in the regular season. Packers look very good today against the Rams. Eagles beating the Cardinals. Remember Hebron, Vince Hebron, the free agent rookie, impressed us in the preseason. Lions over the Falcons. This was quite a finish. Marino marched him down the field, and with the winning touchdown with a matter of seconds left in the game. Look at those numbers on it.
Keith Jackson, big game for the Dolphins, 2 touchdowns.
Bills defeating Bill Parcells, who made his debut with the Patriots. Bledsoe with a very creditable day. We said earlier the Chargers had 6 field goals. Boy, Warren Moon really groggy.
And there's a great player, a classy guy, and what he's got to find a way to do, though, is try to rally this team next week. Tough game.
Wade Phillips winning. We saw Bum Phillips here. He works on the Oilers radio network, and he was proud of his son winning that ball game. 49ers, Steve Young coming back from that thumb injury. The Raiders behind Hostetler. Look at those numbers, Pat. 23 of 27. And that brings us to next Sunday from the Kingdome, Seattle and the LA Raiders. Cody Carlson would come in if Moon couldn't continue. As now we start this drive at the 5, and Derek Brown takes it to the 2-yard line. 9:45 left, and the Saints enjoying a 26-7 lead, and with a chance now to add to that. And here is Cody Carlson, who did a very good job last year when Moon went down with an injury.
Yeah, Cody Carlson can play. I mean, he is their quarterback of the future if things don't work out this year, and there's the likelihood if they don't go to the Super Bowl. It's been widely reported that Warren Moon may not be back as the quarterback, but they feel that Cody Carlson can be their guy.
Neal and Brown in the backfield. Pitch to Brown. Brown makes a nice sideways move, diving for the end zone, and he's in. Touchdown.
"32 unanswered points by the Saints. I tell you, this offensive line really has done a terrific job tonight. They got him the first couple of yards, and then Derek Brown carried 2 Oiler defenders in the last couple of yards.
Remember, at the other end, he couldn't get that ball into the end zone, but he did this time.
Sure did.
Morton Anderson, point after attempt. Boy, this is in the category of stunning. 33-7. 20 points now off of 4 Houston Oiler turnovers.
"120 years ago, when people wanted to send us a letter, all they had to do was write Coors, Golden, Colorado on the envelope. That'll still work today. So if you want to drop us a line about beer or baseball or whatever, it'll get here. Honest."
This Camel system is so adaptive, it can travel 50 miles in desert heat without taking fluid, making it one of the world's most dependable animals. This automobile system is so adaptive that if necessary for your safety, it is engineered to travel 50 miles in desert heat without a single drop of coolant, which might also tell you something about its dependability. The Seville STS with the North Star system by Cadillac, creating a higher standard.
Airbag, seat belts, and anti-lock brakes, child safety seats, careful driving, and a set of Michelins.
Pizza Hut has gone Hollywood with a blockbuster Bigfoot movie deal. You get a coupon for 1 free movie rental at Blockbuster Video with any other movie rental. It's a blockbuster deal from Pizza Hut.
33-7, the Saints, who just scored point number 20 off of the turnovers. And Morton Anderson will kick off, and we'll see a new quarterback for Houston. Cody Carlson will be coming in as soon as they set up shop. Gary Brown will get a return on this one. Almost didn't put it away, and then ceremoniously dumped at the 15-yard line. Did the ball come loose, or was it blown dead? It did come loose. Marcus Dowdell was down there to make the stop. It'll be Houston's football. And Cody Carlson now will come in at quarterback for the Oilers. Here's a guy who started 6 games last year. He was 4-2 in those starts, and as one of the coaches put us, every game he put us in a position to win, even in the 2 they lost.
Yeah, that was Kevin Gilbride who said that. And what you have in Cody Carlson is a proven quarterback. I mean, this guy is not just a backup.
Gary Brown, by the way, who returned that kickoff, is the player that's down right now at the 15-yard line. Well, Carlson signed a big contract as well. In fact, they have 2 quarterbacks, in Moon and Carlson. Next year will get paid $6.5 million between them.
Well, that's where the salary cap comes in. I don't think they'll both be there. Now, this is a year, you know, it's just not enough for either one of these teams to go 10-6 and make the playoffs. I mean, the Houston Oilers have one goal. That's get to the Super Bowl and win it. The Saints are kind of in the same boat. They're 10 you know, they can't afford a 10-6 and then an opening round loss in the playoffs again. They need to get to that next level. They're hoping Wade Wilson can do that. You know, the Oilers went out and made a big change defensively. And anytime your quarterback changes, you're going to be a different team by definition.
Well, you got to remember one thing. Only the 49ers and Bills have won more regular season games in the last 6 years in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I mean, you forget how successful they've been because the Saints haven't been able to win in the playoffs.
Yeah.
This gives us an opportunity to remind you of the movie coming up after the ball game in the year 2274, which I don't expect to be around for. People are being hunted down like animals.
Oh, no.
That's today, isn't it?
Yeah. I hate when
Find out tonight as Farrah Fawcett stars in her big screen debut, Logan's Run, coming up tonight after the Holiday Inn Stadium show. I saw that movie. I never understood it. Maybe if I watch it tonight, I'll figure it out.
You didn't understand Old Yeller either.
Carlson throws to Givens. Ernest Givens across the 25, 30, breaks out of there. Good effort by Ernest Givens. He's been a little frustrated, and that'll salve some of the wounds as he runs to the 42.
He won some of Maxey, too. I mean, he lost his gold chain. You see that, too?
Oh.
You see he lost the gold chain, and Curtis Duncan took it off his neck. I mean, he and Vince Buck have been going after one another this entire game. Gets the ball to Givens, breaks the tackle, and then it's going to be Buck, number 26. He had a penalty called on him earlier with in a little altercation with Buck, and he lost his gold chain.
And the Oilers have Mike Munchak, their 8-time Pro Bowler, down at the 13-yard line. He's had some knee problems. He's been around for so long, and let's just hope that isn't what that injury's all about.
You talk about a bad opening day. I mean, you're getting blown out 33-7. Your quarterback gets hurt, starting offensive lineman.
Let's look at the Oiler injury list just prior to this game tonight. Marshall and Lathan. Lathan broke the arm. He will not be back next week, but they expect Marshall and Williams back. Dumas is out for the year, as is Flannery. Wilbur Marshall was a guy that they thought might be the final link to the Super Bowl, and obviously they'd like to have had him tonight.
I'm not sure Wilbur Marshall would have been the difference tonight.
We're going to figure out how Munchak hurt this leg. Let's look at it.
It's Phil Matthews, number 74, Bruce Matthews. Ouch. Ouch. Oh. Now, mind you, Matthews weighs 291 pounds right on the ankle of Mike Munchak. And oftentimes in down there in the pits where offensive linemen and defensive linemen, it's not the opponent that does it. It's one of your own guys, one of the big bodies that gets tossed into you.
Well, the catch by Givens brought it out to the 42. 8:45 left in this game. 33-7, New Orleans. Saints next week play the Falcons in Atlanta. Detroit here. 49ers here at the Rams. That's the next game's up for Jim Mora. Here's Lorenzo White. White banging bodies. Takes it to the 50-yard line. It'll be a couple of yards short of the first down. On the other hand, this Houston team has Kansas City. It'll be Moon and Montana going against each other in the Astrodome next week.
Well, you know, the NFL season, Gary, really is a marathon. And as a disappointing a night as it was for Warren Moon and for the Houston Oilers, they've got to find a way to get themselves ready for that Kansas City team, a very good Kansas City team, and still try to erase those memories from a year ago. I mean, Buffalo was bad enough. Now they have to worry about remembering the Saint game.
Yeah, they're not going to forget about that Bills loss after this one. Cody Carlson back, got time, goes up top. The ball is overthrown, intended for Webster Slaughter.
Had him for a touchdown. Cody Carlson has a very strong arm and can throw the ball in a small passing lane. You know, you said he was 4-2 as a starter a year ago, threw for 9 touchdowns. And the thing is, the Oilers are one of probably 4 or 5 teams with a proven backup, a guy who come in, you can hand the ball to and say, win the game. And you don't worry about him. He can do it.
Carlson last year completed 66% of his passes. Third down, 3 yards to go. White got it. Nice seeing eye run that time by Lorenzo White as he's able to get to the 42. Von Johnson, Ronaldo Turnbull made the stop. Time 7:26 remaining. Houston has all 3 of their timeouts, trailing surprisingly, 33-7. They scored the first 7 points of this game. Little shock on the faces there.
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise to the Oilers tonight, too, Gary, is the defense. Didn't cause turnovers, no turnovers, really didn't pressure Wade Wilson as much as everybody anticipated.
Gibbons in motion. Carlson getting some time now, being scrambled down by Ronaldo Turnbull. That is the 4th sack of the game for the New Orleans Saints, and Turnbull, the guy that they thought could fill in when they traded Pat Swilling to the Detroit Lions. That'll move the ball back out to the 48-yard line.
Here's Turnbull up here and Donnelly. When we started off the game and said that was one of the key matchups to this game. Ronaldo Turnbull has been pretty good on the run, and right here just gets rid of Donnelly, fakes him, throws him inside, and makes the sack on Carlson.
2nd down and 16. Carlson. Duncan. Oh, what a catch. Duncan gets up. No, they're going to say he was down at the 1. But what a catch by Curtis Duncan. He was a contortionist that time, bending backwards. That's a 47-yard completion.
That is a remarkable catch by Curtis Duncan. I mean, you talk about adjusting when the ball is in the air.
Oh.
Man, almost got stuck in his face mask. I don't know why they didn't let him score there.
Well, I didn't think he touched him either. Let's see. Yeah, I may have touched him when he went by.
Did he?
That's what they're saying anyway.
In any event, I'll tell you, this is a guy, Curtis Duncan, who doesn't get as much credit as the other guys, but made a spectacular adjustment there.
4 catches for 90 yards. Carlson in zone and thrown behind the intended receiver. Hayward Jeffries, the intended receiver. We've been told now officially the feet of the defender touched him, so he was ruled down. 2nd and goal. Stops the clock with 5:39 left to go. Carlson's moved this team in a hurry. This guy's big. He's 6'3". He looks even bigger than that. 202 pounds. Played collegiately at Baylor.
Standing next to Warren Moon before the game, I mean, and Warren's 6'3". He looked bigger than that.
Yeah, he did. Carlson on an option, takes it in for the touchdown. Well, he probably ran that for Grant Taft at Baylor.
Yeah.
And so Carlson scores, and that is their first point since way back in the first quarter at the 8:47 mark of the game.
Set up by just a remarkable catch by Curtis Duncan. Option play still inside the 5-yard line, the most difficult play to defend because you can't account for the quarterback. Makes everybody play passive defense when you have to defend the option, and Cody Carlson dances in for a touchdown.
Del Greco now point after with 5:35 left in the game. 85-yard drive and 8 plays. 33-14. Houston trailing, but this guy giving him a little life here and something maybe to build on next week when they meet the Kansas City Chiefs. And looking ahead to next week, that reminds us that we'll head out to Seattle, and we'll be bringing you the Los Angeles Raiders, Seattle Seahawks. That's Jeff Hostetler, the Hoss, who played so well today, 23 of 27 completion-wise.
Interesting to see if the Raiders break out the Rockets.
That's right.
He's with them now. I mean,
he did not play today.
Yeah.
But could be ready to go next week.
You know, the Raiders have really some great offensive personnel. And I think with Jeff Hostetler, they're much stronger and better at quarterback this year. It could be kind of an interesting team in the AFC West, the Raiders.
So that'll all start with the Silver Bullet Stadium show, 7:30 Eastern, next Sunday. Game 2, second week of the 93 season. Meanwhile, Haywood and his company will have to get ready for the Chiefs, who I just thought today played as well as they could play. Joe Montana hit his first 9 passes in the ball game, and
every kind of throw, long, short, right on the money. You know, the receivers, when Montana throws it, the receivers don't have to adjust much.
You know what I was also impressed by, Pat, was his escapability today a couple of times.
Is that a word?
Is it? I don't know.
You just made it one, but okay, I get what you mean, yeah. No, he can move around. I mean, you know, he can kind of move around that pocket. He's not going to make you forget Carl Lewis or anything like that, but he can move around the pocket.
Baryshnikov, somebody like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, Del Greco. Escapability is not a word.
Well, it could be. I just don't hear it often except from you.
Well, let's look it up after the game, okay?
You got it. I happen to have my dictionary with me. Welcome, Wagnall.
Sarah's with you, whatever, huh? Here's Del Greco kicking off. And Dalton Hilliard going to try to run over to it. It'll go out of the back of the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20. New Orleans in their first possession punted. In their last 7 now, they've had 3 touchdowns and 4 field goals. That's been pretty productive, don't you think? From the 20-yard line now, Wade Wilson will continue at quarterback. You know, last year, the Saints, 4 losses by a total of 13 points. It shows you how close they were in those games that they lost.
Well, you know, they said they needed to score at least 20 points tonight. They've clearly done that at 33 points. They said generally they like to keep those games close and win them in the 4th quarter, but they won this one really, I think, in the 2nd quarter.
Irv Smith, their second pick on the 1st round out of Notre Dame, the tight end is in. He was in motion, and to give to Derek Brown, and Brown brings it out to the 25-yard line. And so now they just want to take some time off the clock. This is the x-rays of Bucky Richardson, who was hurt, you might recall, on a special teams play earlier.
You could tell that just by the bones. That's Bucky Richardson.
Yeah, some of my medical background.
That is incredible.
Isn't it, though? It just amazes me. From the 25-yard line, 2nd down now and 5. Bucky's kind of interested, isn't he?
Yeah.
You can understand why. On a 2nd and 5 from the 25, hammering it straight ahead is a little bowling ball guy by the name of Lorenzo Neal. Boy, he's going to be quite an addition to this football team.
You know, they really did find out something about Lorenzo Neal. They were, you know, unfortunate to lose Brad Mustard. They thought Brad Mustard could really help this offensive team. But as you look at when Mustard comes back and you still have Lorenzo Neal, this could be a better offensive team than they had a year ago. I mean, I didn't think that. I thought when they lost Bobby Hebert, they lost a pretty good quarterback for this system. But Wade Wilson has played very well tonight, and Lorenzo Neal looks like he's the real deal.
1st down at the 32-yard line. Here comes Neal again, and look at this. He comes out of the pile. He's to the 45, hand fighting with Chris Dishman. Dishman finally is able to get him out, and we have a flag. Look at this. He is the real deal. 29-yard run by Lorenzo Neal.
He is so happy to be playing. He said he was just so happy to make a roster. Which would have been happy playing special teams. But instead, you know, some guys move the pile, as he's done tonight, and then other guys can break out of the pile. You know, the Oilers at this point just trying to go for the ball, cause a fumble.
That little shot at the end cost him 15. That was a personal foul against Dishman, so they add some more yardage onto that run. You know, you're talking about Wade Wilson. Buddy Ryan said something interesting about him. He says he is a fast starting quarterback, meaning he plays well early in the season. It'll be interesting to see if he can sustain that as the year wears on. Now, I don't know statistically if he can support that or not.
Yeah, well, I just remember he had one great playoff game with Minnesota against the 49ers a few years ago.
1st down after the penalty and the run inside the 25. 3:54 left in the game. Neal again. Maybe a yard. It'll bring up 2nd down. Jim Dombrowski is in there now, number 72. He did not start tonight. He was late. He was a 29-day holdout for a contract, and so his string of 90 straight starts ended because they started Chris Port.
Well, Dombrowski has been a guy that over the last 8 years has played very, very well for the Saints. Terrific pass blocker. But I tell you, Chris Port came in tonight and started in his place, and he was the one who threw one of the key blocks when Derek Brown scored earlier.
Well, Dombrowski got a 5-year deal, so I guess the 29-day holdout worked. 2nd down and 9.
Who cares about the start?
That's right. Here is Neal, and he gets to the 20. The ball comes out of there, and running with it is Robertson. It may be a live ball. No one's stopping it, and Robertson is going to sprint all the way to the end zone, and one of the officials trailing the play looking around. Does it count? Let's wait. No signal yet.
Yeah, nobody seems to know here.
Bob McElwee will run down. He's saying, what do we got here? And here's one now signaling touchdown in the end zone. Boy, with that.
He doesn't look terribly confident
No,
in that signal, though, does he?
Well, that was a very subtle call of a touchdown.
Yeah, he didn't really want to put those arms up.
Wow.
There it is. Now it's official.
And that doesn't look like he was very convinced. That was Robertson, Marcus Robertson. That's going to be an 80-yard fumble return for a touchdown.
Well, you know, the turnovers are coming a little bit too late. Well, now it's going to be a 12-point game. Now it starts to get a little more interesting. Good block by Rolfe again, number 77. He just dominated his man. Great block by Rolfe. Now he just, Dishman just pulls it away.
Yep.
I mean, I think the Saints are arguing he's down, and he may have been. But Dishman pulls it away, and Robertson makes the touchdown.
And Dishman escorting him in. Boy, it was hard to tell from that angle whether he was down, but there's a very big concern about that, and Jim Moore not happy at all as Del Greco adds a point after, so now it's a 33-21 game.
Interesting. It gets a little interesting with 2:47 left of the game. I thought maybe he may have been stopped, his momentum been stopped and down, but Dishman trying to make a play, trying to make something happen, caused the fumble.
Moore still checking with the officials on this. That may have been the most nonchalant 80-yard run I've ever seen in a football
You're right.
game.
Now, Moore is arguing that Lorenzo Neal was stopped. I'm not so sure he was. You're going to take another look here at Lorenzo Neal. First of all, the block by the tackle, 77, is a dominating one. But he's still moving. The pile's still moving. When it gets pulled out, see, the ball gets pulled there. I think he's still moving. I think it's a live ball.
We have a ground level shot as well. Peter Lasser, our producer, and Lonnie Dale, our director. Let's look at it. Oh, I don't know now. That knee looks like it might have been down.
There, the knee was down. Yep.
I think the ground level indicates he was down.
You're right on that one, Gary. Yeah, that angle shows you the left knee did touch.
Let's look at the ground level one more time and see if it changes our thinking. But let's watch Neal.
Down, left knee down there.
Yeah. No question. That was wrestled out by Dishman after he was down. Boy, would that be something if that would turn out to be a play that could turn this game around. Now they're going to try an onside kick here.
Well, now we have a very interesting game going now. 33-21, 2:47. Oilers have all three of their timeouts.
And if they get this onside kick, it'll be very interesting. Del Greco will kick it to the far side. Saints with all the guys with those good hands up front. Here it comes, has to go 10 yards. It does. Broken up, and I believe Houston got it. They did. Coming up with it was the Houston Oilers.
I think it was Mike Teeter.
Mike Teeter, a defensive end. He is a free agent out of Michigan, and Teeter came up with it after the ball had been deflected. Let's look at it.
Onside kicks are much easier on AstroTurf because you can get a bounce like this. It's a much more consistent bounce. I tell you, it was a good Tony Brown, number 22, blocked the man and allowed Teeter to make the recovery.
Wow.
But, in the NFL, these are only successful less than 10% of the time, onside kicks.
The crowd is angry, but can the Saints now come back from this adversity? 2:41 left in the game. First down at the 47. Screen over the middle to White. Lorenzo White to the 40. Very close to another first down. Toy Cook made the stop. As Pat mentioned, all three timeouts remaining for Houston.
The first successful screen the Oilers have run now.
Number 38 of New Orleans. Carlson over the middle. That ball was deflected. Incomplete. That'll stop the clock with 2:15 remaining. And it'll bring up a third down now and still a yard to go for the first down.
When Pat Swilling was here, not only did he make sacks, but he made sacks in critical times. Ronaldo Turnbull has had a good evening. But can he make the plays at the critical time in the game that Pat Swilling did? That's what they don't know. But now it's time to find out.
Boy, it's tough to crank it up again, though, isn't it, when you think you've got this thing well in hand. Third down and a yard. Carlson with time. Then the ball deflected again. Good pressure put on, and it's a 4th down and a yard with 2:10 left in the game.
Yeah, Kevin Donnelly does the job on Turnbull this time. We said now's the time to make the plays. But Donnelly gets the better of him. Plenty of protection there for Carlson. With somebody else going by who knocked the ball, but it was not Ronaldo Turnbull.
Somebody got a piece of it because that ball wasn't even close.
No, that's 4th down.
Yep, 4th down and a yard. Boy, that's a busted play. Flags everywhere. Carlson started out from underneath center. The snap count might not have been right. Then he gave it to White, and he didn't know where to go.
Give that one to the crowd. Crowd noise.
Illegal motion. Offense. Penalty is declined.
New Orleans has got the football. Wow, you'd like to at least have a crack at it on 4th down.
Give that one to the crowd. With a loud crowd, you can't go on a quick count or an early count. The lineman can't hear you.
So, New Orleans really dodges a problem. After the remarkable 80-yard fumble recovery of a touchdown and the successful onside kick, this thing was starting to unravel. But they hold, and they have it now at their own 43 with 2:05 left in the game. This has been a strange game.
No, it has. It's really been a start and stop and stuttering, and turned out to be actually kind of interesting the last few minutes, though.
So they'll go to the 2-minute warning after this snap. Here is Neal, and Neal hanging on this time.
Yeah.
And maybe a yard. And so the 2-minute warning now here at the Louisiana Superdome. And some more pushing and shoving again. So the Saints with a 33-21 lead.
The world's top husband and wife spy team have just added a junior partner.
See mommy picking the big lock? When you're a big girl, she'll teach you how to pick locks.
Undercover Blues, rated PG-13. Starts Friday, September 10th at theaters everywhere.
It's not just a high-performance tire. It's a Michelin. So it does things ordinary tires just can't do. The XGT series from Michelin.
Pizza Hut has gone Hollywood with a blockbuster Bigfoot movie deal. You get a coupon for 1 free movie rental at Blockbuster Video with any other movie rental. It's a blockbuster deal from Pizza Hut.
I was born
in a small town. That's where my customers
are. Every day, important business takes place in towns all across the country. And every day, we're a part of it. We're in hundreds of towns like Opelika, Walnut, Hope.
The Northwest Southeast is my territory.
Who would know better than Holiday Inn how to make your small town and big town meetings a big success?
Welcoming.
Just like the town I was born in.
Just like the town I was born in.
Holiday Inn. Stay with someone you know who really knows you.
Here's a sport to try. Gillette Sensor has a sporty new look. Sensor Sport. Because it's not whether you win or lose. It's how you look playing the game.
33-21. 2 minutes left in this first game of the 1993 season. And if you've just joined us, New Orleans, a surprising win here tonight. If they can put away the remaining 2 minutes. They started out trailing 7-0. And then were able to take a 13-7 halftime lead, 19-7 after 3 quarters. And then after it looked like they had this game pretty well put away, a remarkable, unusual, bizarre play, an 80-yard return on a fumble recovery made things uneasy. But the Saints have held, and they have the ball now at the 45. Here's Lorenzo Neal, and Neal will be tackled, and the Oilers expected to use the timeout here as they have all 3 remaining. So they stop it with 1:51, and that gives us the opportunity to announce tonight's Cadillac player of the game, and it's Toy Cook, the cornerback of the New Orleans Saints. Look at those numbers: 5 tackles, a sack, interception, and a fumble recovery. first one we're going to look at is the sack that Toy Cook came up with.
Again, it's one of those perfectly timed blitzes off the corner, just beat Munchak. And he came up with an interception that he had. Actually, he had 2 of them. One was called back. This one, he just stole it from Duncan. And Duncan actually had it for a while, and then Toy Cook took it away. And then, not to be outdone, he also had a fumble recovery. After the sack by Buck, the other corner, Toy Cook, is hustling, makes a play. I mean, it has been an incredibly productive evening for Toy Cook.
And one other play. Remember the first big drive, he made a remarkable deflection of a pass, hurt his knee, and we thought, oh boy, that may be something that'll take him out. But he recovered from that. This guy was a center fielder on the Stanford National Championship team, and they had a pitcher by the name of Jack McDowell, who'll probably win the Cy Young Award.
Well, you know, he's got his own post-game show here locally that's seen in the New Orleans area. He'll be
have
smiling
a lot to
out.
talk about.
He's going to be his own guest. He's given himself his own MVP
Going to interview
award.
himself? Is that what it is? 3rd down and 5. Eric Brown. And Brown across the 50, a couple of yards short of the first down. Ray Childers made the stop. Oilers still pushing and shoving with the Saints. And they're going to use another timeout. Clock is still rolling with 1:32 and running. It'll be a 4th down and 4th down and a yard, and now they'll use their second timeout.
Well, this is where you hate to be a punter, because you know they're coming after you.
That means Tommy Barnhart will get this very anxious moment. What a year he had. Last year he had a club record average of 44 yards a kick. Coming up, the Holiday Inn Stadium Show. We'll be joining Bob Neal, Kevin Kiley, and Fran Tarkenton. They'll look at this very unusual game, the start of our regular season here on TNT. Have some guests. Think Toy Cook might be on there?
Yeah, he'd be a good guest.
There they are.
Busy
Ready to
at work.
roll.
Look at that.
On the set, as they call it here. This is only the second punt of the game now for New Orleans. Shows you how resourceful they've been in this ball game.
So Tommy Barnhart's not going to get a letter.
You know, the thing that happens about the Saints is people sometimes don't give them the respect they deserve. And tonight, I think, is a very good example. They came out here after trailing 7-0, just took this game over.
Well, they're not even going to let Houston punt it, which is the right move. Jim Morrill has made the. You can have a disaster, a touchdown, easy touchdown scored.
So they'll go for it then.
Yeah.
4th down, they'll go for it.
Even if they don't get it, the Oilers are still going to have to go, over 50 yards.
I want to thank the public relations directors of both the Houston Oilers, Chip Namias, and the New Orleans Saints, Rusty Kazmersky, for their help in preparing for tonight's game. Getting us the guys, the players, and the coaches, and all the X's and O's. 4th down. And now he's going to use a timeout.
No, it's good to be delay a game. They're just trying to throw
they're going to take a delay a game, and so they'll have a 5-yard penalty, and now they'll send Barnhart in.
Well, now I'm not so sure I hate this. You know, if you're the punter, you certainly hate this situation because you know what the Houston Oilers are thinking.
Wilson saying, I tried to get him offside.
Yeah, you just give up after a while.
Yeah. Roger Riley, our statistician here tonight. Tom Delnos, our spotter. Peter Lasser, our producer. Lonnie Dale, the director. Technical director Dennis Stone. Bob McGee, our technical manager. Stephanie Ray Bradley, the unit manager. Associate director Scott Cockrell and Joe Vincius. Joe V with a new haircut. A graphics coordinator Mark Silverman and Ted Ballard. And Shannon Mizell, the guy who keeps us in line as the guy who controls the booth. Here comes Drury out to the 17, and you heard that hit.
Ouch!
That is Williams and Newman over there. It's going to be Patrick Newman, though, that made the initial contact.
I mean, Patrick Newman is a wide receiver, but he made that tackle like a linebacker.
1:20 left to go. 1 timeout left for the Oilers. One thing the Saints were kind of glad is that they would face the Oilers run and shoot, then play the red gun of Atlanta and Detroit, who's using some run and shoot in the first 3 weeks of the season. That adjusted to all that, possibly. Cody Carlson. Lorenzo White can't hang on at the 20-yard line. That was Turnbull, who was covering him very closely over the middle. That'll stop the clock with 1:14 to go. What about next week? Ricky Meyer, Seattle, Jeff Hostetler for the Raiders. Raiders getting off very well with the win, and it looks like Seattle really has a very good defense, allowing only 6 field goals today by San Diego.
Well, they played pretty good defense a year ago. I mean, and I think what Seattle's been trying to do is get their quarterback situation resolved for, I don't know, well, 3 number 1 draft picks they've used on the position. And I think they got the guy in Rick Meyer, and so do I.
And flags everywhere on a 2nd down 10 snap. Talk about a noisy place.
Before the snap, number 77, offense. 5 yards, 2nd down.
That's Kevin Donnelly, the tackle. You talk about a noisy place. The Kingdome can really get noisy. It's noisy here at the Superdome. And, of course, the Astrodome has their own problems as far as noise is concerned.
That's the 12th penalty now on Houston, Gary. And again, they have a number of things they have to correct, but it was really the momentum changed early in the game, and they haven't played well since then.
Carlson on 2nd and 15, and Gibbons dropped it at the 25.
Well, that ball had some steam on it.
Yep.
You have to catch those.
You know, go ahead, Pat.
That was just a big-time throw.
You know, the Saints this year play 10 of their 16 games in domes this year.
Saints do?
Yep. And they were 8-2 last year in dome games, so they like to play inside. I tell you what, it's a good thing we played inside today. It was so hot outside. Oh, man, we went jogging this morning. You about had to carry me back.
And carried you again tonight.
I let myself have that. I deserve that. Here, Carlson, nice recovery to Slaughter. He picks the ball up and rifles a strike, a 21-yard gain.
You know, you see why Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator, likes Cody Carlson. I mean, he's a big guy, can move around the pocket, and he's got a gun for an arm. I mean, he can really wing it.
Carlson again to White, and White across the 35 to the 37. Clock running now with 40 seconds.
You know, this is a team that's going to have to fight expectations and the tag underachievers all year long. This is a terrible way to get a season started. But they started the season the same way a year ago in a loss to Pittsburgh and rallied for 11 wins.
Here's Carlson showing, I won't use the word escapability, but flexibility as he runs to the far side, and he gets the first down. So that'll stop the clock with 19 seconds to go.
Houston's defense, no turnovers, 2 sacks. It really wasn't the kind of defense I think that anybody anticipated. Jim Mora happy with his offensive line tonight. They really did a good job. And I think in William Roaf, his right tackle, he's got a guy that's going to play there for a long time and play there well for a long time.
You know, Mora is the NFC's longest tenured coach with the same team.
Yeah,
it shows you the real job security in coaching, right? Carlson going for all of it. Reggie Brown is down there, but 3 defenders around him. Incomplete with 11 seconds left to go in the game.
The things about Jim Mora's teams, too, Gary, is, you know, sometimes they don't look like they're in sync, and maybe they aren't the most entertaining team in football, but they do play hard all 4 quarters.
This win will make Jim Mora 4-4 in season openers. You can see what he's done against AFC teams.
It's great to win your opener in the NFL. I mean, it's such a relief to get off to that good start. So if you're Jim Mora and you're Wade Wilson and all those guys in the New Orleans Saints team, I mean, this is a big day for you.
Oilers have used their final timeout with 11 seconds. 2nd down and 10. Well, Jack Pardee, interestingly enough, a lot of people have said that it's been Buddy Ryan in the spotlight, but Jack Pardee's team. I thought you had an interesting comment that he has enough security in himself and personality-wise to allow a Buddy Ryan to come in and be a defensive coordinator and try to make this thing work.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have a big ego. And the idea was to change the, you hate to keep using that word chemistry, but that's what this team needed. I mean, they're really somebody to really kind of shake up the mix, or mix it up. And they had that with Buddy Ryan. Now, it didn't work well tonight. But, that, you know, again, it is a marathon season. It took Ryan's defense usually 2 or 3 years, really, to get it going in Chicago. He doesn't have the luxury of that this year with Houston because of the expectations. It's got to happen next week.
Jim Stanley, Buddy Ryan talking things over, and Buddy Ryan, kind of a cantankerous guy. I guess maybe that's a good word for him. But the players love the aggressive style of defense, that 46 that they play, and they come after people. But again, give credit to the Saints. They were equal to that and did not in any way let it ruffle their feathers, even though early in the game it looked like it was really going to do something with Wade Wilson. But Wilson just hung in there.
And what about Morton Anderson? Morton Anderson, the guy, has now tied the NFL record for consecutive field goals at 24 with Kevin Butler. I mean, this guy is, you know, you could name him the most valuable player on this team because of the way they play offense.
I bet he'd like to kick that tonight, though, and not have to wait a week to try to break the record, don't you?
Yeah.
And there's a very good catch that time by Webster Slaughter, and they're going to give him the catch. No. Now, wait a minute. They're going to rule it incomplete. 4 seconds left. Slaughter was out of bounds, and we have a penalty play clear back at the 35-yard line.
Holding number 77 offense.
That is Donnelly. Donnelly's had a tough time tonight.
Yeah. Well, you know, that left tackle position is really clearly a difficult one to play, but one he just started playing. They had him at right guard last week, so it's a new position for him. One of the keys to the game, we said earlier, is pass protection. And then as this season goes on, it's going to be a very important part of the Oiler offense. How well he can protect Warren Moon's backside.
So it's now 2nd and 20. 4 seconds left. This should do it. Carlson completes it. They're going to have a little flea flicker, maybe. No, Jefferson has it stripped. Jimmy Spencer's got it. Spencer on the run, and Spencer knocked out of bounds by Cody Carlson, and that ends it. You remember it was Spencer who had the big fumble recovery that turned this game around, the 41-yard return way back in the first quarter. I guess that's kind of a fitting climax to this game, huh?
This New Orleans Saints defense changes the complexion of every game they play because they come after you and they cause turnovers.
Jimmy Spencer, who was drafted by the Redskins, was on their practice squad, said he learned a lot from Darrell Green in that time. That's been a find for this team. And Warren Moon and the Oilers will have to get ready for Kansas City.
No matter how uncomfortable life may get, with ribbed whites from Fruit of the Loom, at least your underwear will be comfortable.
Linda, will you?
They don't just look good. They're made to hug your body.
Linda?
To move with you. Some things are bound to make you uncomfortable. With ribbed whites,
Linda,
your underwear will never be one of them. Ribbed whites from Fruit of the Loom. Clothes for the best of your life.
Marry me.
For centuries, the North Star has guided man's travels. Then the North Star system by Cadillac created a higher standard of automotive travel. Now its proven technologies will also guide the new Seville SLS, Eldorado, and coming October 7th, the North Star system will guide an entirely new class of luxury automobile, the Cadillac DeVille Concours. The advanced North Star system by Cadillac, creating a higher standard.
Performax from Pennzoil. New synthetic motor oil with Pennzoil's exclusive star molecule. Protects engine parts at ignition. Works like liquid ball bearings. Hangs tough during the most extreme driving conditions. Flows in severe cold. Performax from Pennzoil. Keeps it cool in extreme heat. Performax from Pennzoil. Fights against failure at friction max out. Performax. Protects to the max.
The NFL on TNT is brought to you by Fruit of the Loom, clothes for the best of your life. By Cadillac, changing the way you think about American automobiles. And by Pennzoil, America's #1 selling motor oil for performance, protection, and quality.
The New Orleans Saints scored 20 points off of turnovers and go to